We are here to christen the season anew. 7 seasons of competition in the books, but we truly are venturing into the unknown with a wild and crazy 8th season of the Venom Truck Series. But for as many unknowns and uncertainties as there are looming across the next 20 weeks, the one thing these drivers know how to do is go fast and take chances, and that is exactly what it is going to take to bring home the marquee event of the season here in VTS. The 4th seasonal Rocketman Memorial 85, and it will open up the 4th season of the Venom Truck Series to take place here on Turn 200. Welcome, one and all, to the world's center of racing, Daytona International Speedway, at least virtually, the 2.5-mile high bank super speedway that is sure to deliver the thrills and spills that it always does here on iRacing. We'll have some first-timers joining us here tonight on the channel, so allow us to introduce ourselves proper. My name is Tommy Cook. My partner, as always, the more important one of the duo, Matt Williamson, is back. And boy, it has been forever. That's what it feels like, at least, even though Season 7 only ended in February. But welcome back to Booth 200 here on a Tuesday night.
Tommy, it's good to be back, my friend. Yeah, it does feel like it's been quite a while. I think that's because I think there are only like 4 weeks between Season 6 and 7, and we've had a 3-month break here between Season 7 and 8. So it feels like it's been quite a while, but I know we're ready to get back after it, and I know the drivers are as well.
Lots of things have changed from last season to this season. We'll get into it throughout the evening here tonight. But Super Speedway Racing is the name of the game here tonight, Matt. This is the 4th seasonal Rocketman Memorial 85, but the 6th overall visit to Daytona for the Venom Truckers to open up a season. Historically, how has the field fared here?
Well, if you don't look at the last lap, this field usually holds up pretty well. For whatever reason, these drivers don't usually find their way into big, unnecessary crashes in the beginning and middle sections of the race. There are usually a lot of trucks running at the end of these races, but just as you would expect, right around 10 to go, that switch flips and the energy changes in the field. It's palpable, and we've seen some pretty massive crashes in the closing laps here at Daytona in our time here on Turn 200 and Talladega for that matter as well. But including this humongous crash from last season where Jeremy McKinnon rides the top of the wall with 9 laps to go. That was a special one right there. But no, these boys have real fireworks for the last lap. Here's the last lap melee from last season in which Nathan Palawota is literally the only driver to skate through without any contact. Season 6 sees Kyle Zittel going for the win on the top side, and he gets turned into a boomerang and collects most of the field on his way through the sky. Season 5, our very first Venom Truck Series race here on the channel, saw this huge mess in the tri-oval, including poor Brantley Gainey getting flung up into the fence. But it's not just the crashes here at Daytona. The racing is usually fantastic here, as you would expect. In our 3 Rocketman Memorials here on the channel, we've seen an average of 24 lead changes per race amongst 13 drivers, and that's just in 85 laps. It is awfully competitive here at Daytona, and truly anyone will be able to win this race tonight.
Absolutely. The winners of Seasons 5 through 7 here are the winners of the Rocketman Memorial proper, which is named after Rocketman Merv Turner, who drove in the Venom Truck Series. He passed away about a week before the Season 5 opener, and thus the race was renamed in his honor. So the aforementioned Nathan Palawota, Andy Poliski, and Jeremy McKinnon have won the Rocketman before, with Kyle Zittel and Kevin Biggs being the other drivers to win the season openers here at Daytona. Well, as we mentioned, we are sure to have new folks along for the ride here this season. There are quite a few rookies listed on the roster for Venom Truck Series Season number 8. But for the new folks and the returning folks alike, we've whipped up something to introduce you to some of the names and numbers of the competitors you'll be seeing here all season. With this being the longest off-season in Venom history, of course, these guys got restless and started making team moves and number swaps galore. So to help clean up this mess, here is Matt Williamson with a helpful guide to everything that has happened this offseason.
And we're going to go team by team here, as there are 10 teams in the Venom Truck Series that will be competing for the team championship here in season number 8. We'll kick things off with the reigning team champions. That is the Alabama Gang. The big news here, of course, was not made a secret. Nathan Reynolds, the 4-time and defending series champion, well, he's ridden off into that Virginia sunset, and in his place, Luke Peterson is promoted off the satellite team and into the reigning championship truck, the famed number 38. The rest of their lineup is unchanged, though, with John K. Still in the number 2, Paul Ellison in the number 55, and Garrett Rainey expected to be back in the number 13. Speaking of that satellite team, it is Super Kick Revival Racing. Of course, with Luke Peterson moving up, there were 2 openings in the stable. Kyle Zittel in the 53 and Eric Breeding in the 26 are returning this season. And Superkick has gone out and gotten Flinky Roberts, who is, of course, a winner in Venom competition, and rookie Hayden Palumbo, who has looked awfully strong here in the recruitment races. Flinky keeps his famed number 68, and Palumbo will be piloting the 54. Another strong contender for the team title this year is Work in Progress Racing. Will Salamone has departed, which opens up 2 spots alongside the multi-time series winner and points runner-up, the number 01 of Brody Gunter, and one of the hottest drivers late in Season 7, Corey Rutherford, who has gone back to the number 50. Those 2 spots are now occupied by 2-time series champion Ryan Dye, who has left Broke Guy Racing and switched his truck number to 20, and the favorite to win the Rookie of the Season award, and potentially a championship favorite here as well, Hunter Engrav, who has won a lot of races here on Turn 200. Tonight will be Hunter's first start in Venom, and he'll be looking to take the 28 truck to a strong finish in his first outing. Speaking of Broke Guy Racing, the one-time team champions didn't change anything at all. The Season 5 champion Andy Poliski still heads up the team in the number 32, Steve Vroman, 2 times a race winner last season, and one of the favorites ahead of tonight is still rocking the 00. And of course, the favorite to win any super speedway race, well, that's Jeremy McKinnon. He's confirmed he will be part-time again this season, but watch out for the number 12 truck to be up front all night. And speaking of legacy teams here in Venom that didn't change much of anything, Insert Coin Racing only had 1 change from last season to this season. Cole Maxwell has swapped from the number 3 back to the number 69. The 22 of Brantley Gainey, the 73 of the Dean of Drivers, Michael Dean, and the driver with the most starts in VTS history, that is Jan Van Leer in truck number 5. Round out the rest of that lineup for ICR. Raging Moose Racing is looking to come back in a big way here this season. Their lineup has 1 new addition, rookie driver Josh Jackson in the number 7, but outside of that, the ever-consistent father-son duo of Papa Paul Sargent in the 49 and Kevin Sargent in the 09 are expected to run the majority of the schedule, and the 83 of one of the favorites, Rodney Matney, is hoping to be back full-time this season as well. Pony Express, a team name so nice we get to say it twice. Pony Express has really expanded the stable. The pony stable? Get it? Anyways, on the main Pony Express team, Mark Dillon Jr. and Tyler Logan have departed, and the regulars have welcomed in multi-season veteran Austin Holyfield in the 10 truck and another rookie, the 60 of Joshua Motacek. They join the Pony Express regulars of team boss and second most popular driver Tyler Berger in the 44 and Kenneth Graves in the 14. But where did Mark Dillon Jr. and Tyler Logan go? Well, they went here, Pony Express 2. No, not the number 2, it's TOO with a comma and everything because the English language. Mark Dillon Jr. in the 34 and Tyler Logan, who had Rookie of the Season locked up before falling off the face of the earth last season, is back again in the 98 truck. Who ended up with that Rookie of the Season award? Well, it was Matt Schlosser, team boss of Interstellar Sim Racing Ventures. Schlosser and fellow rookie classman Zach Lockett have returned, but they return with new numbers. The number 4 for Schlosser and the number 93 for Lockett. They add 2 more drivers. Driving the 31 is rookie Dan Miglin, who has competed in multiple different series here on Turn 200 before, including Truck 200, and Chad Stearns, multi-time winner in VTS across a variety of tracks, driving that familiar 05. Stern instantly makes this team contenders for the title if they weren't already. And finally, a brand new team in the Venom Truck Series. It's Team 200. That's right, we have hodgepodged the team together after free agency went absolutely ballistic, and we are very excited to throw our hat into the ring. We've got 3 drivers that will compete on at least a semi-regular basis, if not full-time. The veteran of the bunch is Pascal Simard in the 76 truck. We've also got RJ Starcevic in the 29, who is the owner-operator of the NASCAR Report Instagram channel. He's made Venom starts before, but it's been so long that he has been reclassified as a rookie. And truly a rookie to the Venom world is Rob Williams in the 19 truck. He rounds out the first ever Team 200 lineup here in Venom and rounds out our 10-team lineup, accurate as of the time of recording of this intro video anyways. There are 15 rookies in the Season 8 class, and only 7 of them are on teams. So who knows if some of these fellas will end up banding together ahead of tonight's season opener at Daytona.
Thank you very much. That was probably a little bit more comprehensive than it needed to be, but we've got our bases covered, and the stage is set. When we return here on Turn 200, we'll have the duels ahead of season number 8 opener from Daytona. It's the Rocketman Memorial 85 around the turn here on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the Divine Dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the 2 women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Welcome into live coverage of the Venom Truck Series Rocketman Memorial 85. It's the Season 8 opener here from the World Center of Racing. Man, it's great to be back here on a Tuesday night with the Venom Truck Series. Matt Williamson, welcome in now. We're officially live, and qualifying is underway. Some changes to the truck that we'll talk about here soon, but practice, if practice was anything to go off of, we're, of course, in for a spectacular race once again today.
Yeah, certainly are. I mean, it's the Venom Truck Series. We're back. They put on a show for us every time they are in town, and that is every Tuesday just about. And, of course, here at Daytona, the Rocketman Memorial 85, they are going to be putting it all out on the line, as always, and are going to be delivering for the folks at home.
For our entirety of our run here on Turn 200 with the Venom Truck Series, they've run 16 race seasons. That is not the case for Season 8. Matt Williamson, what are the Venom boys cooking up?
Yeah, let's take a look at the schedule. A very different-looking schedule here. We are actually going to have a playoff format here in season number 8. You see all of the races there on the left-hand side. Those are going to be the regular season races, and it's going to be chase style. So the 10 drivers that are the top 10 in points, nobody gets locked in after a win or anything like that. So the top 10 drivers in points after the regular season races in Indianapolis is over, they will have a chase playoff format for those remaining races, which is Bristol, Circuit of the Americas, Talladega, Dover, and then Kentucky to end it. So those 10 drivers, whoever finishes with the most points at the end of those 5 races, they are going to be the champion here in season number 8. And you'll see some familiar tracks here on the season, but you're going to see some races that are going to be quite interesting and that we really haven't been to as well. I'm looking at Slinger for the All-Star race. It's going to be quite something. Mount Panorama, we're going to Bathurst in the trucks. God. I don't know. I don't know what to think. We haven't been to the National Fairgrounds for a while. I mean, there's a lot of tracks here that we haven't been to in quite a while either. The road courses are quite something this season, though.
Yeah, a lot of first-time tracks for the Venom Truck Series on this schedule. Laguna Seca is brand new. Gateway is new. Concord, for crying out loud. The half-mile triangle is new. Of course, Slinger, brand new to iRacing and a non-points race as well, but we've never been there. Mount Panorama also have never been to Circuit of the Americas either. It'll be a second trip to Indianapolis and the Nashville Fairgrounds, and I think a third trip to Rockingham. Most of the other ones are pretty well worn in. Oh, a third trip to Pocono as well. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of variety here in this schedule. It's going to be a wild one. Yeah, craziness. So, yeah, that's what we have to look forward to here. 20 races, the final 5 will be a chase for the top 10 drivers in the overall points after the regular season finale at Indianapolis on September the 17th. Here in the sim today, I believe we've got 38 drivers that will be going for it here at Daytona. We're just got about a minute or so left in qualifying. Matt's some changes rolled out to the truck today. How is that going to affect this race?
Well, I haven't been able to experience anything quite yet, but typically when we have a change, and of course it always happens right before the new season for Venom. Seems like every single season we start, there's a big update right before we get rolling here. So, I mean, big things is going to be, I think there's supposed to be a lot more side force being introduced here. So especially here at the super speedway tracks, they're going to be able to feel that with the air when somebody gets alongside of them. And of course, when they get in these big long lines, 2-3 wide, feeling those trucks next to them a lot more than maybe they did before. I think that's going to be one of the biggest changes. A little less downforce, not really going to be a factor here, but as the season rolls along, yeah, big changes for the trucks here, and the drivers are they're going to have to figure it out on the fly.
Well, I'll tell you this much. We may downplay the downforce a little bit. I'm sure a lot of the drivers are, but Hayden Palumbo just broke the Venom track record. And I'll tell you this much. Everybody that is qualified broke the Venom track record. So we may poo-poo the lack of downforce here, but these trucks are going way the hell faster than they usually are here at Daytona. 51.098. Record was a 52.2 coming into today. So Hayden Palumbo, we talked about, one of the top rookie prospects coming into today. Four of the top five are making their first career Venom Truck Series start tonight. So the rookies going fast here at Daytona. It is time to take the grid for dual race number 1, and it will be Hayden Palumbo trying to make his first career Venom Truck Series start here tonight, leading the field to the green flag. Darby Marriott, an addendum to our team video earlier, he is signed on this week with Broke Guy Racing, so he is there 4th, and he rolls off 2nd from the grid here on heat race number 1. Starting at 3rd, it's another rookie. Josh Freed in truck number 39 will start in 3rd. Then we get to a former Super Speedway winner here in Venom Truck Series competition. Brantley Gainey will start on the outside of row number 2. On the inside of row number 3, it will be Eric Breeding in the 26 truck, lining up next to his teammate, Garrett Rainey, who is back in action tonight with VTS starting in 6th. Chad Stearns and Matt Schlosser, 2 more teammates there on row number 4, the Interstellar Sim Racing Ventures squad, with Schlosser the top rookie from last season. Jan Van Leer and Will Salamone is also back here today. Will roll off in 10th next to the driver that's made the most starts in the Venom Truck Series. Austin Holyfield, always a sleeper when we roll into Daytona, led the most laps in last season's Rocketman Memorial 85. He starts from 11th next to the winner of Season 4's Daytona opener, Kyle Zittel. John Kay, the infamous All-State John Kay, starting way back at 13th, next to Team 200 driver RJ Starcevic, back for his 3rd career Venom Truck Series start. Joshua Motocek, another rookie, will line up in 15th next to Corey Rutherford. Dan Miglin and Mark Dillon on row number 9, and Tyler Logan, way back there without a qualifying time, will roll off 19th if indeed he is in the session. Matt Williamson, it is duel time. Let's take a look at what we got here ahead of duel number 1.
Yeah, we'll look at track conditions as always. 89 degrees, pretty overcast here, so good conditions for, not going to need tires really much at all for the entirety of the race, the feature, but definitely not here in the duels. In the duels, it's a 10-lap duel. There are no cautions, so even if we see a bunch of people wrecking, a caution is not going to be thrown. And in the past, we have had at least one pretty darn big wreck in one of the duels, but never have had it in both of them. So that's something to look for. Duel number 1 is going to set the inside line here for the Rocketman Memorial 85. Duel number 2, well, that will set the outside line.
Shade has started to fall over the high banks of Daytona International Speedway here. A lot of unknowns and uncertainties heading into this season, and certainly that is the case here tonight with a bunch of drivers who got together and raced last Tuesday in the Daytona Pro-Am, but tonight it is for points. Bonus point on the line for the winner of the duel. Hayden Palumbo has taken the top time in qualifying, but has not taken the pole. He'll have to win heat race number 1 to do that. It's Palumbo and Marriott, your front row, and we are racing at Daytona. Oh, somebody has missed a shift. I think it was Austin Holyfield. And he is all the way back to the end of the line there.
Yeah, it was Holyfield, but nobody gets into the back of him. Everybody gets through clean, pulled down onto the apron, so everybody going to be able to keep rolling here. It looks like Dylan is going to try and sit back there and let him get back up to the pack. But Hayden Palumbo out front, Josh Freed pushing behind.
Will Salamone is also dropped out of line. He drops to the tail end of the pack here. Austin Holyfield says that his shifter's been losing calibration of late, which is never a good thing here. Well, really anywhere, but at the super speedways as well. Fresh faces here in the Venom Truck Series. It's Palumbo leading, Freed in 2nd, and then it's Chad Stearns, the multi-time series winner, in 3rd. Breeding and Van Leer right now your top 5. 10-lap dash here for heat race. How about duel number 1?
Yeah, a little bit of a blink out of Eric Breeding up there on the top side, but he is back and being pushed by the 42 of Darby Marriott. Starting to make up some ground there. A big run there down the backstretch. Breeding looking to get even here with Palumbo, not quite able to get there.
Palumbo, Freed, and Marieth, 3 of the 6 drivers that will be making their first career Venom Truck Series start tonight with only 38. Everybody will make it to the big dance. We don't have to do any bumping. But we'll save our bumping for the track here as this top line has started to make some waves. Eric Breedy showing the way right now. Not really by much here.
Marieth and Breeding have hooked up really nicely here on the backstretch the last couple of laps, looking for another big run down here into turn number 3.
A lot of teammates in this field, but almost none of them are hooked up right now. Schlosser can't get hooked up with Stearns. Gainey and Jan Van Leer can't get hooked up. And Palumbo and Breeding are teammates, and they're battling for the lead here. 4 on the board this time. I mean, there's always a bit of a feeling out process for the field when you got new drivers in there, and 3 months away is not usually the Venom Truck Series MO. Whoa. But now we're feeling out the truck, too. So, I mean, a lot of learning going on here in just a short little race. Breeding is clear if he wants to take it, but here comes the 54. Back in here on the inside. That's a big blink from Breeding. That is not going to help the top line's case.
Well, down there in turns 1 and 2, Palumbo got up the racetrack a little bit into Breeding, and Josh Freed cut a lot of slack for Palumbo there. Could have turned him when he had to slow down, but everybody did a good job of checking up, making sure that they stay healthy here for the remaining of this duel number 1. Reminder to everybody that our timing and scoring always messes up during a heat race format. There are not only 8 laps to go, less than 8 laps to go, and there's no time and scoring right now. So just a reminder, if you're trying to take a look at that and you're wondering what's going on, for whatever reason, it never works in a dual format. So it will be fixed for the feature, but we're going to have to kind of count you down here ourselves.
5 laps to go when we get back to the stripe here. It's Breeding and Palumbo, and one man that's happy to see these two up front, I'm sure, is the reigning Venom Truck Series champion, Nathan Reynolds, who joins us now in booth 200. Welcome back to Daytona here.
Hey guys, how are you?
We are great. We're covering some action here on a Tuesday night as there's one truck up in the wall. Not sure who that was. It might have been
I believe that
Dan
was
Miglin.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that was Miglin slow there out the back.
But Reynolds a dual winner here. We've never had a repeat dual winner here on the Venom Truck Series in turn 200. But you know how to get it done here at Daytona. Less downforce on these trucks, and we're still beating banging as Garrett Rainey is stuck in the middle. I mean, you're going to give yourself a bad starting spot if you wreck here. But I mean, how much are you going for it in this situation right now?
I go for broke here. I mean, you reset, race, and then kind of play it out. This is a really good opportunity to get a feel for how the draft works, where you can get your runs and kind of practice making that final run. So I always try to take advantage of it, just see what I can get. There's no repercussions or anything when it comes to these duels.
Well, Rainey just went full send there. He's now hooked up with his satellite teammate, the 13 and the 26 up front. Marieth got hung out there. He's got back in the line now behind RJ Starcevic, who's 4th in line on top. And it's actually a 1-2-3 up there for Super Kickin' Alabama gang, as Kyle Zittel now is 3rd up top.
Yeah, we're looking good here early at the bottom line, too, controlling both lanes. I have a feeling you may see Eric pull down here, and then Zittel and Garrett control the top, and Eric and Hayden control the bottom. It'd be nice to do that in a race.
I'm glad that's the feeling you got, because now we're going 3 wide. That's not the feeling that I have here watching Darby Marieth push up top and make a little contact there. More side force, less downforce on these trucks as of this morning. Everybody having to learn these conditions on the fly. But like you said, good place to do it here with a duel. Worst you're going to do is start in the back for the feature race, not taking yourself out for the full lane right now.
John K up the middle.
John K trying to add to the Alabama gang super kick party up front here. Palumbo leading, Breeding leading the top line. They're starting to fade just a bit. with Marriott making noise here. It'll be 2 laps to go, 5 miles left, and Breeding going to get turned.
No, there goes Breeding.
Miglin gets turned as well. There goes Kyle Zittel. Are we going to have
my.
a blowover?
Oh, we had a rollover.
Oh, my goodness. Zittel got hang time there just from getting turned backward.
Eric did too.
We might have blowovers here tonight, folks. That's going to make things interesting. But this is an interesting group up front here. 2 vets and 2 rookies. It's Freed and Palumbo leading the lines. Rainey and Stearns now on the second row. And the vets are the pushers here coming to the white flag. Oh, Rainey, big shot there to Josh Freed. Freed might get clear, but then that would hose Rainey. White flag. Multiple drivers with meatball flag. We'll sort out the rest of the finishing order once they get across the stripe. Top line is given up. It's now Stearns and Palumbo for the time being. We'll see if Rainey and Freed can mount an offensive. Brantley Gainey hanging back there in 5th if these 4 all happen to crash, which, given what we just saw, not impossible here. Big run coming. But can Rainey do anything with it here? Out of turn 4 for the final time. Rainey tried to shoot a gap. Gets Stearns loose. That might set up Hayden Palumbo for a victory cruise here. Duel number 1 goes to the rookie, Hayden Palumbo. It's it's Chad Stearns in second, Josh Freed in third. Excuse me. Chad Stearns in second, Garrett Rainey in third, Josh Freed in fourth, Brantley Gainey 5th. Matt Schlosser, John Kay, Mark Dillon Jr. Actually, Austin Holyfield, after the problems he had on the opening lap, he'll finish in 8th. Mark Dillon Jr. in 9th. Dan Miglin in 10th.
That was my new super kick driver and my championship pick this season, doing what I did to start off last season. Get the pole, win the first duel.
I'll tell you this much. He looked awfully good in the recruitment races. And Hayden Palumbo making a statement early here, gets the win here in duel number 1. So most of the rest of the field is still crossing the line. Palumbo already cruising back to his pit stall. Hopefully we'll talk to him here in just a second. But these trucks looking squirrely, Nathan. What do we make of it?
Definitely a lot looser, and I think they even said that the setups are going to be a lot looser. So I have a feeling you could see handling really come into play as we get some tire wear, especially if these things are staggered out like they have been on the 1.5 miles, and they've taken some of the downforce away. You can see that right rear start to wear just a little, and it doesn't take much at these super speedways. Even if it's, what it shows to us as being 1-2%, that's enough to make a little bit of a difference, especially when you're 3 wide, say middle.
Let's get a quick word in with your duel number 1 winner. He got quick time, set the Venom track record, and now Hayden Palumbo is the winner of duel number 1. Congrats.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, these trucks look a little light on their feet here. I know there's a lot of feeling out for the veterans in this field trying to drive this truck for the first time, but I mean, at least you're even playing field with that, but you have to learn this entire field at a super speedway as well. A lot on your plate here tonight, but you've executed well.
Yeah, I a little bummed there. I think we had Super Kick and Alabama gang there kind of lined up 1, 2, 3 at one point, and I don't really know what happened. I just kind of looked up in the mirror and saw that everybody was crashing behind me. I just kept my foot in it, and yeah, coming there down to the end, I got a pretty big push off of 3 coming through the middle of 4, and it got me pretty loose, but I think it checked him up enough to keep him behind me, so worked out well.
Well, best of luck to you here heading into the feature race. Hopefully we'll talk to you again at the end of this one.
All right, we'll see y'all later.
Quickly, your starting lineup here. Zach Lockett is going to lead the field to green here. It'll be Hunter Engrav, another driver making their first start, another championship rookie favorite, starting in second. Paul Sargent is going to start in P3. How about it for Paul back in the field tonight? Michael Dean, the Dean of Drivers, will line up in fourth. Two-time series champ Ryan Dye with the new team. He lines up in fifth next to the odds-on favorite to win tonight's race, Jeremy McKinnon, starting in P6. Luke Peterson in the Nathan Reynolds machine. He will start in seventh next to Cole Maxwell in eighth. Ninth place starting spot for the most recent winner in the Venom Truck Series, Steve Vroman, and Rob Williams, the Team 200 rookie, lining up in 10th. Josh Jackson and Rodney Matney teammates there on row number 6. It's Pascal Samard, another Team 200 driver, starting in 13th. Next to Joshua Rutherford, one of 4 Joshuas making their first career Venom Truck Series start tonight. How lucky for us. Paul Ellison and Jordan Jorno back for the first time since North Wilkesboro in Season 6, starting in 16th. Andy Poliski, the Season 5 champ, way back in 17th. Next to Kenneth Graves, who was fastest in practice back in P18, and his teammate Tyler Bergert, the 19th and final starter here for Heat Race. Why do I keep saying Heat Race? That's my Friday job. Duel number 2 here at Daytona. Tennessee Titans leading for the only time this year, thanks to Zach Lockett up front.
To be fair, it says Heat at the top of the screen. So
Well, yeah. Big shot coming here from the Dean of Drivers.
Oh. I thought he was just going to go for it there on the outside. Would have been a bold move.
Remember that factoid you gave earlier? We've never had a duels with 2 wrecks.
Well, we saw the big one there in duel number 1. So will we have a couple of them for the first time here tonight?
I'm betting.
Things are looking pretty froggy out there.
Well, speaking of froggy and speaking of frog green, here is Jeremy McKinnon up to second, but he again pushing a rookie, Hunter Engrav, to the lead.
I think it's fair to say that we have a couple of rookies that are veterans.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's why we tend to stick to the term newcomer in Turn 200 operated leagues, because Hunter Engrav has won the most races on Turn 200. He's never started a Venom Truck Series race before. Nate Palumbo, I'm sure, equally as qualified. He certainly looks at winning duel number 1. ICR teammates. Talk about a lot of Joshua's. Here's Cole Maxwell on the outside of the second lane here, trying to push his teammate Michael Dean. There's Rob Williams up there, third in line on the top side as well.
Yeah, Rob looked real good in the Pro-Am race. Team 200 driver. Looking forward to see what he can do here tonight.
I think anybody that's on the battlefield in the final lap is going to get a decent finish. The way these trucks are driving. Oh, and there's a big checkup. It's going to send people scramble, and that's Ryan Dye, and multiple other drivers are going to spin as well. Yeah. There we go. Streak is over.
Rutherford, Dye, Jorno. I think Josh Jackson's in there. Kenneth Graves.
Of course, with SDK being the way it is right now, we're not going to be able to take a replay of that. But it all started with a checkup from the outside line. As up front now, Jeremy McKinnon has ditched Hunter Engrav and Zach Lockett and put himself out front.
Looks like Cole checked up pretty hard, and kind of a stack up from there. Rob Williams checked up, and then Rodney got into Ryan and sent him. That's kind of where it started.
From Duel 1, RJ Starcevic says time for the backup truck. I would agree. You know, it's early in the season. We've still got those, but take it easy.
I was going to say, better keep them clean. Funding's going to get tight.
So it's the top 8 that have broken away as they still continue to jockey around here. It's McKinnon, Engravs, Paul Sargent, Lockett, Dean, Samard, and Maxwell. And Paul Elson as well. And we're not even halfway yet.
Well, I'd say that qualifies for 2 big ones.
I would say so. Yeah, we went from 19 down to 8 in the lead pack, and we may have 3.
Yeah, it looks like, especially on the outside line, Michael Dean trying to push hard here, but is having a little trouble getting hooked up with Zach Lockett. Looks like he's getting big runs through the turns and kind of having to check up a little bit.
The speed's higher for sure. Maxwell on this top line right now doing 190. Normally you get 190 in the trucks if you're, trailing about 5 or 6 truck lengths, making a big run. Maxwell's just riding in line here, and he's up over 190. I mean, these are pretty significant speed differences compared to the package we had just yesterday.
Yeah, this is, I guess, probably more like what we were used to seeing maybe with an Xfinity car as far as speed-wise goes, and yeah, they are hauling the mail here tonight. It's just going to ratchet up that intensity a little bit more.
Here's Dino pushing Lockett to the lead. 93 drops back down to the bottom.
Shout out to John K in the chat. Good to have you. Good luck in the race.
Goodleaf hanging out as well, saying the changes look awesome. I'm sure they look awesome for us. I don't know, Nathan. Are you a little envious not being out on the track, or are you happier up here, you think?
Not for a race like this. I'm very happy to be sitting here watching. Next week, if we go to Charlotte and we're slipping and sliding, I might be a little jealous. But for now, we're content.
Well, truly, this is anybody's game here tonight. You just have to survive. And, I mean, knowing you've got a race like this ahead of you, are you trying to be up front, stay up front? Would you rather hang back and try and miss it all, or miss as much as possible?
I always favor being out front and just trying to outrun all the issues, but you know, it's easier said than done. Pit strategy and everything. At some point, you're always going to find yourself where you don't want to be, and at that point, you're just dodging bullets. But if I had my way, I would try my best to stay up front and away from it, because even when you try to lay back and you think you're far back enough to be out of anything, there's always a chance of somebody being behind you thinking the same thing, or not being able to dodge one of those bullets. So I feel like being up front favors a little more.
All aboard the train up top here. Paul Ellison now leads the way. Will he drop down, or is he content to ride on the top line? This will be 2 laps to go at the stripe.
That outside line was struggling a little bit, and as soon as Ellison jumped out, they got a big run there out of 2 and down the backstretch, and continue to do so. Dean and Ellison are clear if they want it.
Guys, I'll tell you, you can watch the speed difference, and with that added side force, these side drafts that we're picking up in this race, it looks significantly different. I think that can make a big difference tonight.
From a driver's point of view, does it? I mean, it sounds like it might be a little bit easier to work your way from the back to the front than it otherwise would have been in the previous package. Is that kind of how you feel about this as well?
Oh no!
Ellison turned!
Ellison upside down, takes Michael Dean with him. They're going to be 4 wide, and is Sargent going to save it? No, he clobbers the inside wall. So that breaks up this pack. This is the white flag. Lockett now leading. McKinnon and Grav might still have the draft here. Cole Maxwell and Pascal Samard get a daisy chain up as well. So still 5 trucks in it here on the last lap.
Watch how much the 28's closing here.
Engrav 186 to Jeremy McKinnon's 180. Lockett trying to drag in maybe. Engrav, big bumps. That kills his run. But McKinnon is going to have the look here. What does Lockett do? Defense for the 93. Is he going to let it happen? Lockett doesn't make the move. Jeremy McKinnon going to scoot on by. And McKinnon takes goal number 2.
Wow.
Woohoo!
Can't snake at these big tracks with that added spoiler. The way how big the spoilers are, you start snaking, you're just going to kill your momentum there. If he'd held a straight line, I think he would have had a little better of a chance. But ultimately, 2 versus 1 numbers prevail.
McKinnon, Engrav, Lockett, Samard, Maxwell, your top 5. Dean, I think we're still waiting on finishers. It'll be Steve Vroman in 7th. Paul Sargent looking like he's going to limp across in 9th. Tyler Bergert has got an 8th. And racing for 10th. Yep. At the line, it's Ryan Dye by 10 1,000ths of a second over Luke Peterson. Well, lessons learned maybe. What are your big takeaways from the duels here, Nathan?
I think the side draft's going to come into play tonight. Not as big of a chance as being hung out to dry. Obviously, that's going to come into play, but I feel like you could probably make few more moves by yourself, and I feel like tires may come into play a little bit. You're going to see guys make pit stops without taking tires, and I'm curious to see how much they start moving around when they do that. So I feel like the update's going to definitely play a role in handling. It should be a good one to watch.
And this, at least tentatively, not your last Booth 200 appearance for the season. At least not that I don't think any. When can we expect you to see you back up here on the broadcast, do you think?
I know for sure Nashville. I think we've got a deal worked out. I'm sponsoring that race, so I'll be in here with you as a driver analyst, I guess you could say, for Nashville. But honestly, any other time you guys want me around, and I am around and not at the ball field, feel free to hit me up, and I'll pop in for a few minutes or so, as long as people don't get sick of me.
Well, you're always more than welcome up here, and but enjoy your time being Super Dad as well. I know you're off on the road and busy and doing everything, and go enjoy all that as well. But yeah, best of luck to the team here tonight, and yeah, hopefully it's a calm night for Alabama Gang and Superkick, but I'm not envisioning that for anybody.
We got 8 bullets in the chamber, so maybe one of these guys can come through. We've got about a quarter of the field here, so we'll see how that goes.
All righty, partner. Thank you for the time here tonight, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good, guys. Good luck tonight. Hope y'all have fun watching this.
We're going to go in search now of Jeremy McKinnon, the winner of duel number 2. And we'll pull in Jeremy now with the last lap pass there, the last corner pass for the Season 5 Rocketman Memorial winner. Back to your winning ways already here, Jeremy. Congrats. Uh-oh.
They caught him on a break here with the
May
warm-up.
have caught him in the bathroom break. We'll send him back to his team room. And well, I'd say try again later. We've only got 2.5 minutes. Are we squared away now with SDK, do you think? Are we back up and running?
I believe everything should be as normal. Jeremy's driver details came up right away when I clicked on it. So, yes,
Perfect.
I think we should be good to go.
And we got Pamela Engrav in the chat now, cheering on Hunter. Hunter, of course, looked pretty good there. He pushed me to a win at Talladega in the SRL Next Gen Series and pushed Jeremy McKinnon to that win there. It's easy to say anybody's pretty handy on the super speedways, but Hunter is handy everywhere, so you got to believe that in his first career Venom Truck Series start here tonight, he's looking to go big. Other drivers, that looks strong. Hayden Palumbo, another first-timer. He takes the top time in qualifying and wins the duel, so he is credited with a pole in his first career starts. Tonight could be a night for the rookies.
Yeah, I mean, it's this is a great place for a rookie to kind of dip their toes in and really get used to the drivers, because you have to race very closely with each other. You get to learn them quite well with the close quarters racing here. So it's a nice introduction here for those rookie drivers, but don't get it twisted. They are looking to make a big statement just like anybody else is here in the first race of a new season. And there's plenty of them to play spoiler. Big rookie class, and we are very much looking forward to seeing what they can show us here.
I did go out earlier with an AI field just to see how much it felt, or how different it felt compared to the old package. Immediately I noticed the speed, but then, of course, I crashed, because I always do. But I was like, man, that truck felt like it got up in the air. And I was like, no, that couldn't be. It's not possible. Maybe I just hit, because it was on the backstretch, maybe I hit the rumble strip there on the bus stop, and it's like kind of bumped me up in the air. But no, we had 2 blowovers there in the duels. Blowovers are on the menu here tonight for anybody that gets turned backwards. And an inconsequential spin could end your night just like that if you happen to catch the grass or a bump on this track in the wrong place.
Yeah, certainly something new to us here in iRacing, and that makes it that much more difficult to survive, because in the past, if you got spun out but you didn't really hit the wall or anybody else very hard, pretty much going to be able to continue really without any damage whatsoever. Yeah, if you get turned around, even if you don't hit a wall or anything, you could end up on your lid, and you're certainly going to have to fix that one.
Yeah, definitely going to be the case if that happens, but we don't know if that's going to happen or not. A lot of question marks heading into 85 laps here tonight for the Rocketman Memorial 85. And your dual winners lead the field. It's Hayden Palumbo with the pole and Jeremy McKinnon on the outside of the front row. Row number 2 is Chad Stearns and Hunter Engrav. On the third row, Garrett Rainey and Zach Lockett. Row 4 is another rookie, Josh Freed and Pascal Samard, starting in 8th. Row number 5 is Brantley Gainey and Cole Maxwell, ICR teammates. Matt Schlosser and Michael Dean on row number 6. It's John Kay and Steve Roman on row number 7. Austin Holyfield and Tyler Berger on the 8th row. Mark Dillon Jr., Paul Sargent back on row number 9. It's Dan Miglin and Ryan Dye, your top 20 starters. Kyle Zittel, Luke Peterson, teammates on row number 11. RJ Starcevic and Andy Poliski, the Season 5 champ, back at 24th. Jan Van Leer and Paul Ellison on row number 13. Will Salamone, Jordan Journeau, Eric Breeding, and Rob Williams, your top 30. Darby Marriott back at 31st, next to Kenneth Graves in 32nd. Corey Rutherford and Rodney Matney on row number 17. Then Joshua Modacek and Joshua Rutherford, Tyler Logan, and Josh Jackson. A lot of Joshes here tonight, but no joshing around here. This is the real McCoy.
It certainly is. Duels are over. Playtime is over. This is, you make a mistake in this one, you are going to pretty much be out if you have any sort of significant damage, because there are no fast repairs here in the Venom Truck Series. So we got 85 laps here tonight. They do get 3 extra sets of tires, which, as Nathan talked about earlier, we may have to use those a little bit more than we have in seasons past. That'll be something to look forward to. Our pit window is usually around 30 laps. Maybe with the higher speeds, it might be a little bit lower than that. RPMs might be a little bit higher. I don't know. That'll be something to monitor as well. The average lap for the first caution of the race is 22. The last season, we went nearly 40 laps before that first caution flew. So, but new setup, new drivers. I feel maybe they're going to be coming bit quicker than normal here, but we will have to find out. Still overcast here, looking at the track temperature, 81 degrees, continuing to go down. Wind gusts only 5 to 6 miles an hour. It's not insignificant, but not real high either, so shouldn't play too much of a factor. But I tell you who is going to be a factor. All of these drivers looking to get after it. Lots of starters here. Going to have to try and be a little bit patient, but also want to make up the track position quickly as well. Who is going to be able to do it?
So many combustible elements. This has all the makings of a classic race here on Turn 200. We just need people to make it to the finish. 6 drivers making their first career Venom Truck Series start. 38 on the grid overall. 85 laps for Merv Turner, the Rocketman. The Rocketman Memorial 85. Season number 8 is officially underway at Daytona.
Engrav early on, trying to get Jeremy McKinnon pushed all the way out front. McKinnon is clear if he wants it, but here comes Palumbo on the bottom with Chad Stearns behind him.
Lap 1 goes to McKinnon by 3/100ths of a second. Daytona Pro-Am was settled by 3/1000ths last Tuesday. Matt Schlosser was victorious there. Just because he has it at the line doesn't mean that McKinnon has got it. Palumbo's still here, though he's lost his help on the bottom. Chad Stearns giving space here, and it's going to allow McKinnon and Engrav to get clear and open things back up for Samard and Lockett up top.
We know McKinnon is always an incredibly good pusher, but he is the one being pushed out front this time around. Looking comfortable as always here on the super speedways.
I got a statement from McKinnon while we were rolling through the starting lineup. Says he was planning that move for the best part of 3 laps. And Daytona means a lot to him. And he's thinking of Merv and the Turner family, and is honored to win even a duel en route to potentially another victory here at the Rocketman Memorial. Engrav rolls out, and Lockett is blinking like a madman up top.
Yeah, he is blinking all over the place. Hopefully he won't cause any issues, but
what in the world?
Yeah, this is a little bit Robert Duvendak-like from last night.
I think he just crashed. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know what's going on.
I think he's put himself up in the wall to try and drop to the back, but nobody can even really see him because he's blinking so much. So, yeah, I'm not really sure, but
I hope that gets sorted. He's looked very good all night.
Yeah, and didn't have any issues in the dual race either. So yeah, this is an unfortunate time for something like that to come up. But Pascal Simard is going to take over that outside lane and now is able to drop to the bottom. The big push from Cole Maxwell.
Pascal's a guy that you and I have always cheered for silently, even though we're supposed to be nonpartisan. So we started up our own team. Pascal is still a free agent. And he's leading at Daytona for Team 200 right now. May not have it at the line. Maxwell and Dean are cooking up top. Yeah, I think Maxwell led that lap, but Team 200 is close. McKinnon has given some off-center pushes here, but McKinnon is one of the best at pushing, so we'll leave it to him.
Shout out Logan Lester in the chat as well, cheering on Ryan Dye. Ryan currently just kind of hanging out in the back, not wanting to get caught up in any of the big action early on here.
Two Canadians on the bottom, two South Carolinians on the top. The Quebecer, Pascal Simard. That is career lap lead number 8 for the 76, and that is team lap lead number 1 for Team 200. I promise we're not going to do that all night, but cool for us.
Is somebody who's classified as a rookie, but not a rookie to the Turn 200 channel. That's Dan Miglin. He just dropped from the top to the bottom, now riding there behind Jeremy McKinnon on that bottom line.
We talk about how aggressive and take no prisoners Jeremy McKinnon is. That is Dan Miglin too. Just because he's a rookie, he is going to get after it here tonight. Make no mistake about it, and he already has, up to third on the bottom. Maxwell trying to get clear with help from Michael Dean on the top side. Maxwell's clear. Dean is not. I would imagine he's going to stick up top here until the 73 can find some room underneath.
ICR trying to get lined up here on the outside line as well. Get a couple of them together.
I think they're all together. Pretty sure that's Jan and Brantley Gainey. So they are 1, 2, 3, 4 on this top line here. New paint scheme we got to work through, but certainly they are here together.
You're right, that is Jan. It was kind of hard to see that number 5 there, but you are correct. All of them here together early. That's what you want to have as a team early on in a super speedway race. It gives you a lot of options, not just pushing with familiar people, but when it comes to pit strategy, all of you can pit together and have a group no matter who comes with you. It's a big advantage to have all of your teammates together here. So ICR looking good early on.
Well, we've got the memo from the duels, I think. Things calmer, at least for now. So the duels may be a taster of what the final 10 laps of this race are going to look like. Here goes ICR. Dino clipping up the apron there, but it's going to get Cole Maxwell to the front of the field here. Talked to Cole a little bit before the race. He was quietly confident, as he usually is, coming to these super speedway races. He's had a couple of looks at wins on the big tracks before, but has yet to bring one home.
And unfortunately for Zach Lockett, looks like he is a couple of laps down. Actually coming up think maybe right in front of the pack
Yes.
here to take his second lap down. Currently 1 lap down. Will be 2 laps down.
Over the radio, he says that he's just going to try and latch on to the tail of the field here, but he thinks that he's got the internet issues sorted out. He's going to stay on the bottom of the track as the field going to work around him on the top side. So this will put him 2 laps down.
And that could feel a little scary as a driver, especially here through the tri-oval, trying to work around on the top side lapped car there.
Do you know from experience?
I unfortunately do.
Yes. Certainly.
Sometimes
This is-
I am the lapped car.
This is split up ICR here. We've got a 2-2 situation with Maxwell and Dean on the bottom, Brantley and Van Leer on the top. There is a 5th ICR driver, but he's not here tonight, Leo Smith. ICR International, because you can only have 4 cars on a team. But no Leo here tonight. We'll have to wait for his debut. Hopefully next week at Charlotte.
Kingston in the chat, cheering on Jeremy McKinnon. Jeremy was up front. Has now been leapfrogged on the outside by a few drivers, but still here in the top 10.
Jan Van Leer entering this season with some momentum. 5th in the points last season. Got his first career victory at Martinsville. Tonight is career start number 101 of the 102 Venom Truck Series races that there have been. Just behind him in the start column, is Andy Poliski, making career start number 100 tonight.
And here's a great view from the front of the pack, looking backwards. You see all of the ICR drivers in the top 4 positions. Double file for about 12 rows, maybe a little less. And then most of the other drivers kind of hanging out around there in the back, waiting for the pit stops or the big wreck to happen. Don't want to be caught up in anything. Everybody running single file back there. So, but everybody doing a good job early on, being somewhat aggressive, but keeping it clean as well.
We talk about the team dynamics a lot here in Venom, the 10 full-time championship-eligible teams that there are. When you come to the super speedways, it's Alabama Gang, Super Kick, and Broke Guy Racing usually that have the best pack tactics, if you will. But ICR do too. They always do this. Control the front of the field, especially in the beginning and middle portions of the race. They just always happen to get in accidents and never can get the finishes to go with them, at least not as a team. Maybe 1 or 2 individually can pick off a top 5 or a top 10, but usually the successes don't come in a windfall for ICR like they do for Super Kick and Alabama Gang.
Well, when you're the top 4 positions, as long as you take care of your business up front, it's pretty difficult to get caught up in any other wrecks unless it's the 2 drivers in the 3rd row that turn one of them in that 2nd row. But other than that, should feel pretty safe up front here. Definitely the safest place to be, right behind any of the squirrely action that may unfold here.
Rookies making their way into the top 10. Rob Williams is up here. RJ Starcevic is up here. Josh Freed is up here now as well, inside the top 5 rows. Pole sitter Hayden Palumbo kind of hanging with this group. He's fallen off the lead pack by a few car lengths, but still riding in 13th.
And Josh Moda checks right as well. So those are a lot of the names we've talked about when it comes to that rookie class, and a lot of them trying to work their way up through the field right now as we are coming to lap number 15.
You remember Hunter Engram dropped out of the pack running in the 5th position early on in this race. He's back in 29th. On the flip side of that, Darby Meredith started well outside of the top 30, and he is up into the 15th position now. So some movers and shakers already in this one, but ICR controls the front of the field. About halfway through this green flag run, if it goes all the way, expecting pit stops to open up sometime around lap 27 to 30. As the lights continue to come down, maybe some handling issues are going to start to go away, but make no mistake about it, we are not pushing right now. This is leisurely compared to what we're going to see in the final 20 to 30 miles of this race.
And sometimes what this does is it kind of lulls some of the drivers into a false sense of security. You know, there might be a group of drivers in a team, you know, kind of not really too focused on getting together and getting on that second or third lane to make any moves. They're just kind of riding around right now, but they're definitely planning the moment that they want to strike, and everybody else can't be caught sleeping. It's easy to take a minute off and relax here for a moment when things are calm like this.
Top 10 as they run: Maxwell, Dean, Van Leer, Samard, Gainey, McKinnon, Poliski, Williams, Starcevic, and Miglin. A lot of the designated rookies up in the top 10 here. 6 drivers making their first start with the Venom Truck Series tonight. RJ Starcevic, a rookie as well, but making his 3rd career start. And similar for the 84 of Jordan Journeau, making his 3rd career start tonight as well.
One thing these drivers got to be careful of is leaving that middle open, especially if we saw in the duels, Brandon Gainey took a couple of opportunities that the drivers on the top line left a gap in between themselves and bottom, and Gainey filled that hole and shuffled them out. Obviously, still a long ways to go. Nobody really wanting to force that move at the moment, but you can't let too much space get in between yourself and that bottom lane. Otherwise, drivers are going to pounce here throughout the night.
2 former winners of the Rocketman here, side by side, teammates at Broke Guy Racing, Jeremy McKinnon and Andy Poliski. Poliski actually beat McKinnon for the Season 6 Rocketman trophy. Would have been 2 in a row for the 12. There goes RJ Starcevic. Trust his gut. He says it's not for him right now. He'll come back onto the track. Unfortunately, he's probably going to lose the draft because he had to come back up on the banking there. That is a long train of single file behind behind the lead back here.
Yeah, he's going to go all the way to the back. He is going to be able to hang on to Salamone, I think, here, but that is a long ways back there.
Welcome back to Will Salamone as well. This is the majority of last season. He statistically is one of the top dogs here at Daytona. Multiple top 5s and a podium as well. Salamone will be a threat here tonight if he can survive to the finish. Here's a big shot from Gainey up to Jan Van Leer, and as ICR trying to get hooked back up on the bottom, they are. They've gone from the top to both lanes, now back to the bottom. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 for Insert Coin Racing.
And what's great about that is Maxwell and Dean could have checked up that bottom line just a tad to let Jan Van Leer and Gainey get out in front of them. Have to believe that they wanted to take an opportunity when it was presented to them to get together because pit stops really are not too far away. So wanting to get together here, they can pit together, most certainly.
This leaves Andy Poliski now with control with help from Rob Williams. 3rd Team 200 driver, getting some airtime. We'll keep airtime to the strictly turn 200 sense and hopefully not to the literal sense for anybody that happens to go spinning here before too much longer. Dan Miglin is here on the top side as well. Is that Josh Modicek on the top side? I think it is. And Darby Marriott not too far behind either. And now Kenneth Graves is creeping into the top 10 here as well. I keep saying it until people tell me to shut up. Kenneth Graves had a great opportunity to finish at least 2nd, if not win, last season's Rocketman Memorial. Just barely got clipped on his way through all the calamity. Oh, and there goes Rob Williams. Up into the wall. He does a nice job collecting
dear.
it. Now there goes Kenneth Graves, and it's going to take more drivers, I believe. Caution is going to fly. That was a hook from Miglin up to Rob Williams on lap 21. And that is probably going to take out Williams. It's also taken out Austin Holyfield, who had done a nice job maintaining a spot in the top 15.
I got to tell you, that definitely could have been worse than what it was, but still quite a few trucks with significant damage there.
Williams with help there. Let's see all the determining factors. How everybody does a nice job of avoiding making that much bigger mess than it was.
Go ahead and take a look. Gonna back this one up.
That was right on the average, too. That was lap 21.
Lap 22, we said, was the average for that first caution. We'll go ahead and go to slow-mo here. Poliski out front. Williams kind of came across the bumper a little bit, and Miglin just did not lift when they got out of line. Miglin just ran right into that right rear of Williams, turned him up into the wall, and then went down and nearly turned. I think that's Cole Maxwell as well. That was awfully close. Oh, Kenneth Graves going to make pretty big contact with Williams there as well. Everybody was trying to get checked up, and Graves, and then a couple other drivers going to get into Graves as well here. That is the 49, Paul Sargent. And I think Holyfield is that other truck that you mentioned that had damage as well. I think pretty much everybody else, other than maybe getting some damage jumping down onto the apron potentially, but everybody else should be pretty clean there.
Paul Sargent got a piece of that as well. Maybe Mark Dillon Jr. For the most part, yeah, just the three drivers with a meatball flag. It's Holyfield, Williams, and Kenneth Graves, who is the first jinx of the season, because I was literally talking about him as that happened. So put a quarter in the jinx jar for driver number 14. Hopefully they're able to get their trucks fixed rather quickly and continue. I believe Zach Lockett is getting the lucky dog right now, so that'll bring him back to one lap down out of the pits, because everybody was in, of course. I think it was Josh Motacek that led Josh Jackson out of the pits.
It indeed was. Motacek out front, Jackson here in second, then Miglin, Gainey, Jan Van Leer in the top 5. So, thinking that a lot of the drivers probably decided to take tires here after 20-plus laps. And I would imagine Motacek and Jackson probably did not.
Motacek was inside the top 10. When the caution came out, Josh Jackson did not. Okay, there you go.
But
Motacek was going to be towards the front anyway.
Looks like Motacek may come down pit road this time.
Maybe just wanted to lead a lap.
I wouldn't blame him. Yep, both of them going to come down pit road here.
So that'll give control of the field here to Dan Miglin, as Josh Motacek will pick up a black flag for passing. Miglin, Gainey, Van Leer, Freed, Dean, your top 5. Stearns, Giorno, Palumbo, Vroman, and Marieth, the top 10. Do we have out in the chat anywhere anybody cheering on our new drivers? Introduce yourselves, say hello, and we'll say hello right back. It's Tommy Cook, it's Matt Williamson, hanging out here on Turn 200 as we do most nights of the week now. Venom Truck Series season opener. A lot of new characters, but a lot of the same characters as well, and some crossover action as well with a couple drivers who made multiple starts in Turn 200, making their first crack at a Venom Truck Series start here tonight. One of them is leading right now, Dan Miglin.
RJ Starsvik, one of those drivers, was in the chat. He said he could smell it, and smell it he did. Just the previous lap, about to drop out and go to the back, and he was right on the money on that one.
One of those smelly smells that smells smelly. Not anchovy.
Give that man a Krabby Patty.
I'll take a pretty patty, please. We're doubled up here. Its strategy will be interesting. Have to make a stop somewhere around lap 50, and that is going to get us awfully close to the number there. If you can stretch it to 55, you might be able to make it to the end. That's without cautions, though. A lot of stuff still to come here in this race. 25 of 85 going to go up on the board this time. Miglen, Gainey, Freed, Van Leer, Dean, and Stearns. Green flag. Jan Van Leer with teammates all around might have to settle for pushing Dan Miglen right now. Gainey's got a nose out ahead into one, but Miglen and Van Leer fighting back. There's a big run, I think, from Steve Roman to get up to the top side. Goes from the bottom to the top and will pull up toward the line.
That is Vroman, and still familiar colors, but a different paint scheme. Pretty much we've seen that paint scheme for the last 3 seasons or so, as Miglen moved up to the top of the racetrack and nearly got into Joshua Freed.
Nathan talked about the extra side force there, just pulling up to the door, slingshot him out a car length and a half, but the top line still pushing the traditional way. Got back out front there by the stripe. Some notes to be logged away in the book there. Aggressive side draft and might get it done.
Saw Josh Freed work well up front in the dual race. Back up second in line on the outside again. Trying to get Brantley Gainey pushed out to the front of the field. Top 10 all right here together at the front of the pack. Everybody else kind of hanging back a little bit. I know it still seems like it's early, but as a driver, if you're buried in this pack, you gotta feel like you're kind of running out of time a little bit as well. As Gainey does get pushed out to the front in the tri-oval by Freed.
Gainey to the lead. Now will find himself on the front bumper of Dan Miglen, who continues to side draft. Miglen, I believe a 2-time podium finisher in Truck 200. Those both came on short tracks, though. Freed, new to us here on Turn 200, but is about to find his way to the front of the field with help from Chad Stearns. Freed is clear if he wants to take it. Will he stay true to the 05, or will he drop down to Brantley Gainey? Not a bad pusher to have here in the 22.
Something we haven't talked about too much here is that there's still a lot of free agents out there. Working well with some drivers here tonight. And turning some heads might get you on a team as a result. So might be some drivers out there looking to get themselves on one of these championship contending teams. This would be a good night and to try and make a name for yourself.
Well, Gainey's had enough. He's going to find help with Chad Stearns, and look at this. Goodbye. See you later. Stearns and Gainey clear, but Stearns underneath Gainey, and now has to make a save on the apron. Wow.
I think Gainey just thought Stearns was going to let up and let him get down there, but Stearns was hammered down trying to get underneath the 22. That was awful close to disaster, but it is averted by the 05.
Yeah, certainly awfully close there. RJ Starcevic just got back up into the top 10. I would imagine he's trying to find his way out of the pack again after seeing that. Some other drivers appearing towards the front for the first time tonight as well. Darby Marriott is now inside the top 5. Corey Whitford is hanging around the top 10 now as well.
We haven't given much of a shout out to some of the drivers running the car inside camera. Of course, we talked to Nathan Reynolds earlier. He is the owner of the Car Inside YouTube channel. And we do, if you're new to the series. We do driver cameras, and it is sponsored by none of them have really been in the top 15 much here tonight, so that's one of the reasons we haven't shown them. But we're going to get to a few of them here as we roll along through the night. But still taking a peek up front here, there's Darby Marriott.
That is his teammate in front of him, Steve Roman. Marriott, a late addition to the Broke Tire Racing lineup after we had already, of course, produced the video for the opening this week. The Darby started deep in this field. 31st. And he's up here in the top 5 already. Giorno is also back.
Guess what, Tommy? One of our car inside drivers is now inside the top 10. That's the 20 of Ryan Dye.
The 2-time series champ. He's up in the top 10 here. Love that the slushy paint scheme. Isn't the slurping? The slush dog. Slush puppy.
Slush. You
God,
got there.
We'll get there. I think it's a regional thing, but either way, it's a banging paint scheme.
Here's that car inside camera we were talking about earlier. Let's go ahead and go. We haven't had a car inside cockpit view yet, so let's go ahead and go with Ryan Dye. Inside the top 10, working on the outside here behind Jordan Giorno. This outside line, weaving a little bit. Dye kind of backs off the throttle a touch as he sees the movement and shaking going on in front of him, always ready to make an evasive maneuver if needed.
Well, he's not going to have much of an option now because he's got his work-in-progress teammate Corey Rutherford closing in behind him, who is getting shoved by Cole Maxwell. And, Maxwell got that W Riz in the chat from Eric Elgin. I mean, he's looked good tonight. Absolutely. I don't know what Riz is, but he may have it. Hopefully he doesn't give it to anybody else.
Oh, you're showing your age there, buddy.
That's
Kenneth. Some lap traffic. That's Kenneth Graves.
Yeah. At least he's back out there. But, yeah, I jinxed Kenneth tonight. Sorry to Pony Express. Steve is giving aggressive shoves here.
Well, we don't talk about Steve Roman enough on the super speedways. Of course, he was the very first winner of a Truck 200 race at Talladega and is always a fantastic teammate, great pusher, somebody that you always want to work with here around these racetracks, but I just don't feel like we give him his flowers enough.
Well, that's the thing, is all 4 of his Venom Truck Series victories have come on mile and a halves. But technically, third victory came at the new Atlanta last year, or last season rather. So, I mean, he is an accomplished super speedway racer by all metrics, including the dub at Atlanta 22. And to your point, yes, in Truck 200 as well. And I think I said something very similar to that in the Season 7 broadcast as well, as we never think of Roman as a super speedway guy, but he's always up front. I mean, always. Literally, hardly ever leaves the front, really, the top 10. And he is pushing like hell, trying to get BGJ up to the lead outright if he wants to take it. But Roman may take it for himself. That's the second time that's happened to Brantley. He's much more prepared this time, and no further incident. Steve Roman to the lead.
Seems to like that outside. I mean, he did try and get down in front of Stearns, but has been a little hesitant to pull down.
Well, his veteran help is gone. He's now got Marriott and Journeau behind him before Ryan died. And Corey Rutherford as Marriott got loose off the front bumper of Journeau, and the 42 is going to get hung up top. That was an incredible save. And
He's going to be able to
Marriott
slot in,
back.
though. But, yes, that was a great save. Not to make any contact with the outside wall.
And now this top line is fading. Miglin going to seize an opportunity and maybe try and help it along. Just as quickly as it's fading, it roars back to life here. Steve Vroman with the lead. Brantley Gainey with help from Jordan Journeau trying to rally back.
There's noticeably less single file in this pack now. As we're getting close to the halfway mark, we had maybe 5, 6, 7 rows of double file and then a long single file line in that first run. Nearly everybody is pretty much double file here.
And everybody except Ross and Holyfield is in touch with the pack here. Holyfield, of course, involved in our only caution of the night thus far.
And there's still a decent line of drivers, but not nearly as many. Now tell me, we've had that first run. We had a caution come out. We still have at least 12 laps before we're going to make pit stops. Is this a time that folks are starting to try and make moves here, or do we think everybody's still content to ride? I mean, we're going to be getting past the halfway mark, and some of those drivers there in the back have to be feeling a little trapped right now at the back of the pack.
I would imagine, yes, that things are starting to bottle up a bit for somebody at the extreme end. But, I mean, with this package the way it is, if you don't have damage, you should be able to do whatever you need to do at this point. So as long as you're somewhere in a reasonable spot where you want to be at this point in the race, you have the ability to move forward if you want to. So I wouldn't think anybody, unless you're way back there, is hitting the panic button at this point.
Here goes Gainey, big run again. Although quite got clear that time.
Stearns out of sorts with Roman right now. And that is going to get Gainey clear if he wants it. And maybe Journeau too. Journeau, oh my gosh. Oh, still not really clear. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is.
That's bad. Roman, Miglin involved. Oh, bigger pile up there. Joshua Rutherford, Darby Marriott, Corey Rutherford.
Joshua Rutherford.
Wow.
Lots of drivers trying to go through the grass here to avoid as much as possible. RJ Starcevic, I think, is done for the night.
Jordan Journeau down in front of Steve Roman there. I mean, it looked like he was clear by an inch, but then Roman immediately picks up with the run. When you're still trying to get settled in there on the bottom, the car is going to be light, and it was. It's a lot lighter now.
Well, after the fact, let's go ahead and back it up. Journeau pushes Gainey out and clear, and you mentioned it. I mean, just barely slots in front of Roman there. But part of Journeau's problem as well is Gainey, again, kind of didn't make a decision on whether he was going to go to the bottom or stay on the top. And Journeau gives Gainey a push in a really awkward spot. So I think Journeau was trying to check up for Gainey a little bit, as the 22 wasn't quite sure what they wanted to do. Gainey ends up going to the top side eventually, but it's too late. Journeau gets a little tap to the bumper from Vroman, Gets down on the apron. He's trying to save it. Makes one save. It gets back down there. And on that second one, the right rear makes contact with Vroman. Spins him up into the outside wall. And it is on from there.
I mean, just a laundry list of people going to get at least a piece of this, if not a meatball flag. Miglin with a meatball, Vroman, Marieth, Garrett Rainey, who we really haven't called out tonight. Alabama gang staying quiet for most of this race, but Garrett is out of contention here.
I mean, I've counted at least 14 with somewhat of significant contact. I mean, not that all of those are going to be race-ending by any means, but I mean, the trucks are certainly not going to be at 100% for at least 14 drivers there, I believe.
I mean, certainly close quarters there with Jornell sneaking in front, but I think everybody will be maybe a little bit more generous to him when they go back and see kind of what was going on with Brantley there as well. Just not a particularly favorable situation for anybody involved up at the front there. We got Darby in the chats saying 31st to 3rd and dead. Yeah, it was a great drive up to that point. And good survival as well with a couple of close calls before that. But yeah, that was, I would imagine that is a race killer for sure.
Well, here's the view from the cockpit of Jordan Journeau here as Journeau gets down to the bottom. And you can see the RPMs go down right here as he thinks Gainey's going to drop down in front. He's above 7,000, and then they go below 7,000 as Gainey kind of tries to pull down in front but doesn't commit to it. Journeau gets that push from behind and is just trying his darndest to make the save, but makes that contact with Froman. And Journeau backwards gets a pretty good look at a lot of the action here.
RJ rolled out of the pack again and missed it all. So, still alive. Dan Miglin has stayed out, and he is still staying. He doesn't have a meatball flag, but that truck looks bad. Does not look good.
Well, not only that, he's going to be at a disadvantage for fuel here as well. Kieran McKinnon also going to stay out and not take fuel, though. So, two of them are going to have to come in within the next, I don't know, I'd say 10 to 13 laps, probably. So, I mean, everybody is going to have to come in at least one more time, but seemingly McKinnon's going to have to come in all by himself unless he gets some teammates to go with him there.
RJ Starcevic, the caution whisperer. Did Maxwell make it through clean? That is the question. I will investigate.
We'll take this opportunity to look at some more of our Car Inside cameras. Thank you to Car Inside and Nathan Reynolds once again. And to all the drivers that are running a Car Inside camera here. Always fun to have these available. Joshua Rutherford is a first-time Car Inside driver here tonight. I think was caught up in that one a little bit, but the front of the truck looks pretty decent. Had to get some damage fixed there, most likely. Kyle Zittle's running a Car Inside camera for us here tonight as well, as he normally does. Got that backlighting there for the number 53. And Paul Ellison, who has slowly worked his way forward, started pretty deep in the field here tonight. He's got the VR headset on. No, he's not driving the bus right now. He's got the VR headset on, rocking that Car Inside camera as well. So thank you to those drivers who are rocking the cameras for us here tonight. And if you would like to participate, if you're a driver watching, you can. Anybody can participate, and just hit us up, and we'll tell you how.
Dan Miglin going to give it a try, but he's going to go straight down to the apron. So he leads lap 43. He's done. Zach Lockett, by the way, got the lucky dog. So he is back on the lead lap now, lap 44. McKinnon lost his help on the top side. This is Chad Stearns and Rodney Matney up front for the first time here tonight.
Where's stickers in the chat? Rodney Matney is sitting in second place right now.
Yeah, Stickers McQueen, where are you? 83 up front here. And this is the 1-2 finishing combo from Michigan in Season 6. Stearns passed Matney with 2 laps to go to rob Rodney of his first career Venom Truck Series win. But this duo working well up front right now, leading lap 44. Stearns going to go up top, looking for help from Josh Freed. Matney's got none right now. McKinnon now on the top side, tightening up. It'll have to come from Pascal Simard if Rodney Matney is to find any help.
And Simard not able to really get up to Matney very quickly. Finally starting to get to him. But 3 trucks are going to get clear of Matney here. I Stearns really was already clear, but Josh Freed, Jeremy McKinnon going to be able to pull down in front as well.
Mark Dillon Jr., I think, going to be the first official retiree of this race. Dan Miglin has brought it to pit road after leading a couple laps here under the caution. Chad Stearns. Now, we talk about Steve Roman not being a super speedway guy. Chad Stearns, you really don't think of being a super speedway guy. But was up there battling with Jeremy McKinnon at Talladega last season and finished runner-up to the 12, who's a couple trucks behind him right now. But outside of that second place finish, Chad Stearns has crap luck here at the super speedways, to put it bluntly. Speaking of somebody who has crap luck at the super speedways, John Kay's in the top 10 right now.
John has been waiting very patiently. He dropped straight to the back at the beginning of the race and has been just waiting, biding his time for that big one to happen, to cycle his way towards the front, and it finally has come.
Nathan Reynolds. Go ahead.
He's bringing along Kyle Zittel with him as well, who's there on the outside. We're going to see a lot of the drivers that we haven't seen so far in this race start to make their way up to the front as we are now past that halfway mark, and they know that they need to get going.
Well, it's not just Kay and Zittel. It's Eric Breeding as well, and Hayden Palumbo, all right there together. But Zittel is moving on the top side, and Paul Ellison is there too. Ellison pushing Joshua Motocek.
Yeah, Luke Peterson's here also. So a
So
lot of
7 of the 8 remaining Alabama getting super kick. Bullets in the chamber, as Nathan called them earlier. They're primed and ready to fire.
Really excited to see what Luke Peterson can do here this season. Obviously made great strides forward in Season 7. And I'm sure has maybe impatiently been waiting for Season 8 to continue that great stretch he's had.
Yeah, Lucas I finished in the same spot that he did from Season 6 to Season 7, points-wise. But, I mean, statistically, last season was a great season for Luke Peterson, especially down the stretch. Could have had the win there at Kansas. He'll want that one back for sure. But I think he'll have 20 opportunities at a win this season. And, yeah, should easily be a favorite to make the chase and potentially make a little bit of noise as well. This is Steve Roman in front of the pack, staying out of the way.
Roman, of course, caught right in the middle of that last caution. Hit the wall really hard. It's been a while.
Uh-oh.
What do you say we go for it? What do you say we crank it up?
Let's crank it up, partner.
Let's crank it up. everybody rocking and rolling, and everybody is double fired. You know that the intensity is getting a little bit higher and a little bit higher as we keep rolling along. No single file at the back of this pack. Everybody knows that they need to be in a position to make a move should it come to them.
34 laps to go. Rookies on the top side. Motocek pushing Freed. So many Joshuas tonight. But it's Stearns and McKinnon. That's 11 wins between them in the Venom Truck Series, including 3 on the super speedways, although McKinnon has all of those, including a win here at the Rocketman Memorial in Season 5, and a dual win here tonight as well. McKinnon has done his best to execute his usual plan of getting to the front and staying to the front.
Curious to see when we're going to see this third lane potentially come into play. Recently, I feel like with the trucks, running a third lane has been very difficult to make up any ground. But I'm thinking with these package changes here, with the less downforce, more side force, I feel like that third lane might be a little bit more useful here tonight than it has in the last couple of seasons around Daytona.
I, in an ideal world, agree with you 100% that the third lane is going to be important down the stretch here. But I think the first time somebody tries this third lane with a few laps to go, it's going to wreck the whole field. Because these trucks do not look steady. They're not steady. Not just that they don't look, they aren't. I mean, these drivers have all the talent in the world. Daytona third lane is a tough thing to pull off. It hardly ever gets pulled off. But I agree, it's in play, and I think if front 2 or 3 trucks in that line can make it work and make it stick, it's going to be the way to go. But you got to have some huevos to do it. You talked about rookies maybe looking to find a home. Josh Freed done a nice job all night tonight. I don't think he's strayed much further back than the top 15, but really the last 10 to 15 laps or so, even before the caution, he's been up here inside the top 10 and now gunning for the lead alongside one of the best that the VTS has to offer.
Push there to Stearns down the backstretch, but Motocek and Freed are able to stick right with him and even edge out in front here out of turn 4.
Motocek's looked a little bit squirrely behind Freed, but I think that just comes with the territory. He has been aggressively pushing Freed, and it's been productive, and it's productive again. Freed is clear if he wants to take it, but he doesn't. He's going to stack up his outside line a bit. Motocek getting a helping hand from one of the best pushers that there is, Paul Ellison. A winner here in the Next Gen Series with the American Sim Racing League a few months ago, and there goes Motocek, nearly blown over. Is he going to keep it up top, or is that going to be a bigger problem? More spinning. Lockett, Sargent, Josh Jackson involved. They're back down across the track. That was a big shot there from Paul Ellison, and it might have been too much as they were really stacked up there together.
A pretty good ride for a couple of others there as well, and that's a couple of incidents in a row now that have happened right at the front of the field.
I didn't see this from my vantage point, but multiple drivers in the sim itself say that there was a blink there for Motocek. And Ellison says he was inside of the cockpit of the 60 car when he got turned. So I didn't see that, but Ellison's there and I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that's a little difficult to kind of explain with the sim as well is but what we're seeing as spectators isn't always what the drivers see either. But we're gonna get a decent look at it here. Freed out front, Motocek there in the middle, Ellison right behind, and they are all stacked up, bumper to bumper to bumper here. A little bit of pushing the pusher going on, trying to really get that outside line moving. And maybe we'll try a little bit of a chase cam here. And Ellison, yeah, I mean, you can't really tell it from the spectator view. Ellison right in the back of the bumper here. And Motocek gets turned up to the top side. And nearly gets flipped over. Of course, everybody going to go for the mad scramble. Lots of drivers diving down to the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, and looked like, I think that was Paul Sargent that got into the back of Lockett there. That's what ended up turning Lockett around. And Lockett goes for a pretty good ride up to the wall. Josh Jackson makes really heavy contact with him as well. Jackson may be done here tonight, or definitely not going to be competitive, I don't believe, after that hit. And, of course, there's RJ Starcevic locking him down. He's missed everything here tonight. But, yeah, hard to tell from our point of view what really happened there, but definitely pushing the pusher going on. From our point of view, but like Paul said, that he didn't really know where he was in relation to Motocek there.
And I think if anybody gets the benefit of the doubt here, it would be Paul Ellison. We just know he wouldn't do something like that, at least not on lap 58. Maybe when the numbers are flipped and it's lap 85, I could see that happening, but still by accident. I mean, that was, from our vantage point on the broadcast, some very aggressive pushing. But it makes a lot more sense that the 60 just wasn't there. But that doesn't go to salvage Motocek's night, unfortunately. Again, no meatball flag, but he'll have a ton of damage to repair. Like you said, so will Paul Sargent, who was doing a nice job quietly here tonight. And Josh Jackson as well.
Looks like Luke Peterson might have a little bit of damage here as well to that left side. Front looks pretty decent, but may not be totally at full strength. Right side looks good. Back looks good. Most of it looks good, actually. Might just have a little mark there on the left side. Should still be pretty healthy.
I believe Corey Rutherford got the wave around, or rather the lucky dog. Either that or he's just showing as the last truck on the lead lap right now. We've got a few drivers a lap down, including Josh Motocek from that crash. Kenneth Graves just picked up another meatball flag. He was kind of riding around, but he's still on the track right now, 2 laps down. Austin Holyfield, I think, he's still out there in 31st. Steve Roman is in 32nd. Rob Williams is still trucking along. Not the debut he was looking for tonight, but he's in 33rd. And then it's retirees from there on out. Dan Miglin, Mark Dillon Jr., Garrett Rainey, and Darby Marriott, 34th through 37th. Tyler Logan never took the green flag here tonight, but he'll be credited with a 38th place finish nonetheless.
You know, trying to look throughout
Go ahead.
the field here, I was trying to look for any significant damage, and visibly the only real significant damage it looks like is to Michael Dean there in the 73, but most of the other drivers here in the top 20 look pretty decent.
Speaking of decent, look who just popped up in P2. They call him the decent one, Kyle Zittel. Winner of this race before it became the Rocketman Memorial, when it was just the Season 4 opener. But he knows how to get it done nonetheless. He is always a favorite to win the super speedways, and the decent one is going to line up P2 here. I'd say we're in the closing stretch here. That was probably the 7th inning stretch. Now it's time to get down to brass tacks at Daytona. Stearns and Zittel Two former teammates, now competitors up at the front. Poliski, Matney, Peterson, and Gainey, your top 6 as we're back underway on lap 60.
And a screenshot of that incident Paul Ellison just got sent our way from one of the drivers in the session. And Motocek was inside of Josh Freed. Wow. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of netcode blinking going on there for sure.
Well, Freed's lucky he didn't get taken out with it, though. He's still up here in the top 10.
We have seen some very awkward interactions between vehicles when netcode occurs and you get inside of somebody else. So you are very much right about that Freed is pretty lucky that nothing broke inside of his truck when that occurred.
Here goes Kyle Zittel to the lead off the front bumper of his former team driver, the defunct Zittel Link, one-time team champions, I do believe. But here is Luke Peterson now pushing Rodney Matney up top.
Peterson has been quiet pretty much all night, but when the lights turn on, here comes Luke Peterson and that new number for him, the 38.
Got that number with 2 races to go last season for Nathan Reynolds, who decided to close out his Venom Truck Series career with his old number 51. The original thinking behind 38 was 3 for Dale and 8 for Dale, but now it's 38 for Luke Peterson. Andy Poliski lingering here in the top 5 as well. We've said his name being in the top 10 several times here tonight, but slowly but surely continues to eke his way towards the front of the pack. Hayden Palumbo is doing the same. The pole sitter is back in the top 10 now. I think the real sign of when things are about to hit the fan is when Hunter Engraf gets back up in the pack here.
Now, Hunter's been awfully quiet here tonight.
Truly quiet.
Haven't really mentioned his name, and honestly tonight, that's kind of been a good thing so far.
Yeah. Matney's been clear a couple of times to move down if he wants, but I'm sure he's liking what he's getting from Luke Peterson, who just got backed up there. And that stacks up both lines as Matney does take the bottom. Zittel with a checkup. It reverberates through the field, but everybody handles it pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah, that was definitely close. And here comes Kyle Zittel. Zittel wants to get back out to the front.
With teammate in tow, Zittel now leading the top line and looking to lead the race. Matney getting help from the 05 of Stearns.
And here comes Insert Coin Racing. A few of their drivers up there on the top side behind Luke Peterson. They are back and ready to attack.
That is Gainey and Maxwell. Yep, Eric. Cole Maxwell was fine over the last couple of cautions. He's now back in the top 10 with his teammate in front of him. Maxwell had an opportunity to win at Talladega a couple of seasons ago. Fell away from him. Hopefully that doesn't fall away from him once again. He was excited heading into tonight.
Michael Dean lined up right behind him. Sitting here all together.
Dino has damage. I'm sure he can't be the leader here. Jan Van Leer also has damage, but he is not together with the rest of the team. He's a couple of trucks separated behind Josh Jackson, who also picked up damage in that last crash. Zittel is clear. I'm sure he's not going to leave Luke Peterson, at least not yet. Preach can get him that far clear on the last lap. Zittel's taking that every time, I'm sure, but not on lap 65. Coming to 20 to go at the stripe. You know what? I'll just come with you. Why not?
That's exactly what they were looking for. And now it opens the door for Insert Coin Racing to get one of their drivers up to the front. Brantley Gainey will be the first in line.
Gainey has spent a lot of time on point here today. Off the front bumper of Cole Maxwell even. A couple of drivers on the bottom clip the apron. That is not going to help the momentum of this bottom line. Top not getting formed up either, as they're going to have to work around Kenneth Graves again.
Graves going to put it right up against the wall, allow everybody to get through.
I think he got into the wall there.
Yeah, he has significant damage. He's not going to be able to catch on anyways.
Wow, that was a close call. I think that was Hayden Palumbo nearly getting turned there by Josh Freed. They were both trying to move across lanes and almost took each other out. Big shot there from Stearns. Gets Matney upset. That sends energy backwards through the bottom.
Pushing is starting to get aggressive throughout the field now. Earlier on, it was just the first couple of rows. Now it's about 5 to 6 rows deep. Pushing, starting to get tight and get aggressive here. 18 to go.
Yeah, you asked me earlier if I was starting to panic with about 30 laps to go. Now, if I'm not where I want to be, I'm trying to make the moves. Like I said, that's dangling carrot. The third lane. Can you use it, and who's going to go with you? And when do you make the move? Because somebody will try it.
Somebody has to try it here. The thing is, it's not tested. Nobody's tried it all night long. So with the new package, nobody really knows what it's capable of.
The Larry Mack trends here at Daytona. Average lap of the final caution, usually with about 5 laps to go. Last caution last season came out with 9 to go. We've never had a green-white checker here in the Venom Truck Series at Daytona. 2 seasons ago, we had a natural 3 to go, but not a green-white checker. And usually, the last crash of the event is frickin' huge. We've still got quite a few soldiering on here tonight, so I would expect more of the same if we make it to the end. Teammates working up front. Peterson pushing Zittel. Maxwell pushing Gainey. Jeremy McKinnon peeking to the top side. Josh Freed going to go with him. 15 and a half laps to go, and McKinnon is taking it. But starts a bit in the middle with Stearns. There's Freed into the wall. Jan Van Leer makes a save. Josh Jackson into the wall now. And that is going to break this field up.
McKinnon still going for it.
Still doing it. Here goes Hayden Palumbo with him. The 2 dual winners are working on the top side.
Feel like they have to get at least one more truck to help them. Here it comes.
Matt Schlosser.
I do believe. He's been quiet all night as well.
Your Daytona Pro-Am winner has been as silent as a church mouse for the entirety of this 71-lap race thus far. Up, and now the noise goes away as Stearns getting pinballed around. I don't know how we didn't wreck there. Stearns nearly got hooked by Poliski after a checkup happened in front of him. Yeah, intensity picking up here, no doubt. McKinnon off the top side, but now onto the top side, if that makes sense. Schlosser goes back up top.
Top, and nobody going to jump out to help this time around.
Well, good try, Matt.
It's too bad still like to do that and get left out.
Oh, I think that was RJ just clipped the apron.
He lost a ton of speed. He might get railroaded here for a couple of positions.
Certainly. But after all that, it's still Zittel leading the bottom and Gainey leading the top.
Oh, Maxwell might get shuffled out. He's lucky it was a teammate behind him.
Yeah, if that was McKinnon, he would have been in the wall. And McKinnon's not too far behind.
We talked about that really early on in the race, but that's exactly what I was referring to. You get up too high, make a mistake. Somebody is going to fill that hole. And now he's going to go up and block the third lane a little bit. Here comes Jeremy McKinnon once again on the top side.
Jeremy fills the hole up top. Palumbo gets back into line, but this is Poliski now. Broke guy teammates up top. What can two trucks do on the top side by themselves? Will they find any other help?
Paul Ellison seems like he may work with him. Here comes John Kay, maybe going to help as well. Nobody really committing to it with him though.
McKinnon says this race means a lot to him, wants to win it for a second time.
They are making hay up there, Tommy.
Huge runs. Poliski pushing McKinnon. Up even with Gainey and Zittel. Oh, there's Maxwell into the door. Undeterred, still pushing hard. Poliski up to McKinnon.
Now most of the trucks have migrated to that.
Oh no! Poliski clips him. There goes Kyle Zittel. It's the big one. That is everybody except for Matney and Michael Dean. That was absolutely huge. Every single truck except for Michael Dean and Rodney Matney either checks up for this accident or is wiped out. Just the faintest glint of the back bumper from Poliski to McKinnon sends McKinnon hurtling down into Kyle Zittel. And I mean, 15 trucks at least heavily damaged here on lap 74.
That is by far the big one. No question about it.
Yeah, we said we saved the big ones for the final lap, but there isn't anybody left, hardly. Peterson, Stearns, Bergert, Maxwell, Zittel, Gainey, Samard. Some heavy hitters here tonight, all with meatball flags.
Looking for Andy Poliski here. Gonna go. We'll go ahead and go to the far chase. They had there was contact. I'm going to back it up a little bit farther to the contact between McKinnon and Maxwell as well. Maxwell gets up into McKinnon. There's a little bit of a shuffle that happens. Poliski gets right up to the bumper and gives a little shot, not super square, to McKinnon into turn 3, but still making it work. Oh, and it looks like Poliski may have wiped across McKinnon and then comes back across up the racetrack as well. Turns McKinnon right down into Gainey. That small of a mistake is what sets it off. And everybody else behind them pushing as hard as they can is going to finish it. I mean, everybody here inside the top 20, at least contact of some sort. You do see Michael Dean and Rodney Matney down there on the bottom. They kind of squeeze through with pretty minimal contact.
Wow.
But my goodness. And I tell you what, somebody who checked up and seemingly with no damage at all
Don't tell me.
Engrav.
Oh, okay.
That was at the very back of that.
They're going to tell me RJ Starcevic.
No, I think RJ was in that one.
I think so, too. Well, unfortunately for Eric Elgin, cheering on Cole Maxwell, meatball flag for Cole. I mean, so many good stories at the front of this field, and a lot of them are junk right now.
Yeah, there are 4 or 5 drivers that got absolutely catapulted into the outside wall there around turn 4. Zittle's one of them. Gainey hits it pretty darn hard. Luke Peterson just absolutely smashes it. There's Maxwell, and that green and black 69 just absolutely smashes it too. See if there's any better angle of this. This is one of our crank cams, and you see McKinnon get turned down into Gainey. If those were real trucks, there would be sheet metal all over that racetrack.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be red for sure. Well, this is setting up for a dandy of a finish. Look at who is at the front of this field. Michael Dean in the 73, Rodney Matney in the 83. Dino, no career wins in the Venom Truck Series. Likewise for Rodney Matney. They have both come close. They both have runner-up finishes to their credit. Dean also an all-star race winner, though, at the LA Coliseum. Finished runner-up in the next all-star race after that at iRacing Super Speedway. It's been now nearly 4 seasons since Paul Ellison has pulled into victory lane. He's always a contender at the Super Speedways. He's now in 3rd. RJ Starcevic is now in 4th in his 3rd career Venom Truck Series race. What a story that would be. And not that we're cheering for him any extra or anything, because he's our team driver. Then it's Eric Breeding and Matt Schlosser on row number 3. Breeding looking for his first win. Schlosser looking for his first top 10 on a super speedway in his career. Then Josh Jackson, Will Salamone, always here at the end of the super speedway races. Joshua Rutherford, part-time in his first career start tonight with the Venom Truck Series. John Kay, historically an overperformer at the super speedways compared to his average finishing position, no doubt. He's in the top 10. A lot of people in it for the win here, and maybe outside of the top 10 on this restart. Will this be the run to the checkers here? Lap 78 is on the board this time. Michael Dean from the outside has control of the field. And not a lot of options right now other than to hold serve at the top.
Wondering who has damage here. Looks like RJ not really able to get up to Dino. I think he may have more damage than he thinks.
And Dean also had some damage from a previous incident as well. There goes Matt Schlosser, who got a piece of that last accident as well.
It is a mad scramble to get around those drivers right now.
Schlosser leading with Dean on the top. Rodney Matney now in control of the bottom. And Jeremy McKinnon is taking it 3 wide up the middle, further back. Undeterred. Unbelievable. He's still going 3 wide. Look at this. He's made up 10 spots since turn 3.
He's all by himself.
Oh, Rutherford, that's Joshua into the wall. One other driver has to make a save. But Rutherford, I think, going to keep it up there. And we stay green. Engrav now in the mix, pushing Jeremy McKinnon just like they were in the duel race. I mean, that is unbelievable that truck is even driving, let alone back up at the front. But you cannot count the man out until you zip that truck up in a body bag. And that is helping the top line's case here. Matt Schlosser noses ahead at the line. He is leading here. Lap 80 on the board. 6 laps to go in the Rocketman Memorial 85.
Can Schlosser do it again? Won the Pro-Am. Can he win the big one here, the season opener?
Nobody has won the Pro-Am and the big race in the same season before. Schlosser hampered by some damage. So are Dean and McKinnon on the top line. It's a game of numbers, and maybe 3 is enough, even with all the damage. Matney with help from Ellison and Breeding, teammates behind him, but not his teammate. Josh Jackson is up in the mix here as well. So is Will Salamone. Corey Rutherford now pulls into the top 10. Jan Van Leer is back up here as well. Still anybody's race here, 5 to go.
I am just waiting for McKinnon to try and push this thing 3 wide. He was not afraid to do it that last run. You know he's not afraid to do it as the laps tick down here.
And Engrav will go with him. Not a doubt in my mind. Hunter wants to get after it. Whether it's for the win or whether it's to get somebody the win, Hunter will do it. Multiple disabled vehicles rolling around the bottom of the track. Here's Dean down into the side of Paul Ellison there. Side force. It worked. Schlosser ahead. Schlosser clear. He is clear. Can he take it? 4 to go.
Does he want to take it down to the bottom? That's another question.
I wouldn't.
Oh, it looks like he tried to, but it was a little too late.
And it stacks up that top line. Indecision again. Oh, wow. Big wiggles here. There's no way this runs to the checkers. There's Matney! Oh my gosh.
Incredibly loose off the bumper of Eric Breeding as well.
Matney up into the door of Matt Schlosser. It breaks up the bottom just a bit. Schlosser now off center with a push from Michael Dean. Dean is clear. Schlosser goes down. Dean decides not to go with him. Schlosser comes back up. Josh Jackson is going for a spin. Joshua Rutherford into the wall, and that's going to be a correction. Other drivers piling in as well. 4 or 5 trucks pile in there. Zach Lockett.
Minimal damage for John Kay as well. Zach Lockett took a massive, massive hit there.
Well, that's going to be a popped balloon for Zach Lockett, who was 2 laps down, fought back into the lead lap, fought into the top 10, and now is torn up once again. Joshua Rutherford's debut is similarly over now as well.
Pascal Samard took
Pascal
a massive
Samard
hit also.
Man, Pascal is a survivor of these races, but not tonight. And like all trends here, we are headed to overtime for the first time at Daytona with the Venom Truck Series because of this accident.
Happened there. Go ahead and back it up, and it looked like Jackson and Van Leer may have made some contact here. Jackson's in that number 7 Red Bull truck. Jan Van Leer above. Looks like Jackson may have Jackson drifted up the racetrack, made some contact there with Jan. Got turned down onto the apron and was trying to hold it down there, but just had too much speed. Gets up into Salamone. And Samard hit that wall up top. Joshua Rutherford trying to slow down for it. Gets hit by Samard. Samard comes down and clips Zach Lockett. And Paul Sargent smashes in there as well. That was almost a really great save by a couple of drivers, but it just stacked everybody up too much.
It's those higher speeds and lower downforce that made those more savable instances less savable.
Well, this... You said we hadn't had one yet.
Yeah, I sure did, didn't I? I've said a lot of stuff tonight.
It's going to happen here tonight.
Well, a lot of drivers down pit road, but they're all involved in that accident, at least the majority of them anyway. have been involved in an accident at some point. Sergeant Zittle K. Freed Poliski, Dye, Maxwell, Gainey, Marriott, Graves. There could be a couple drivers maybe playing for fuel in there as well. Not impossible. We have 3 opportunities added, green-white checkered. And if we get to that third one, we could be running a little light in the tank here. So somebody might be sitting pretty who has just come in now if we need it. And to A.P. Lewis in the chat, first of all, hello. Second of all, my prediction is that things are about to get wild if they weren't wild already, because the pay window is open.
It is more than open. That door has been kicked in.
Matt Schlosser. We talked about a few drivers who have multitasked here on Turn 200. Schlosser, one of the first ones to do it. This is his second season with the Venom Truck Series. Won Rookie of the Season in season number 7. Took both road courses in Route 2, that title. But what can he do here trying to defend his Daytona Pro-Am title? You know, everything I've said here tonight that hasn't happened before has happened so far. So when I tell you that Schlosser is in a position to be the first driver to win the Pro-Am and the Rocketman, I mean, let's look it up Schlosser right now.
Certainly is. I think he has a pretty clean truck as well, and also has a little bit of a benefit that Michael Dean's going to be the driver starting on his outside, holding up McKinnon and Engraff. Dean doesn't have an exorbitant amount of damage, but it's enough to back that line up just a tad.
Dean does have noticeable damage. McKinnon has noticeable damage. Schlosser does have some damage still. I think more minimal than Dean, but where he's got a big win in his column right now is that Rodney Matney has gotten through every single accident tonight up to this point. He doesn't have a scuff on that truck. So he'll have good help pushing here from the bottom, which is the lane he's elected to be in. I think the big X factors here come on row 3. Paul Ellison and Hunter Engraff. They are going to be pushing madmen here. Of course, Engraff has the option of going to the extreme top side if he wants to open that up. Ellison can try and shoot a gap in the middle. All right, folks. Buckle up. We've completed 85. It'll be 87 on the board. Schlosser, Dean, Matney, McKinnon, Ellison, Engraff, Rutherford, Breeding, Van Leer, and Journeau. Your top 10. Green flag. It's a lead, maybe too big of one for Schlosser, who's going to go up to the top. Matney has no help. Schlosser now shuffled to the bottom. Oh, and turned. Too aggressive with the blocking.
And there's more.
And there's more. Yep.
That got ugly.
Yep. Schlosser and Dean are out of it. So is Breeding, Corey Rutherford, Zach Lockett again. That was not pretty.
Not by any means. It was hard to tell if Schlosser was really going for a block or if he just kind of got connected to Dean and he just couldn't get off of him. It was really hard to tell. But we will take a look at it, see if we can dissect. But what had a lot of good green flag runs has turned into some very aggressive blocking and pushing that has resulted in 2 or 3 really, really big incidents. Let's just back it up all the way to where we take the green here. Schlosser got himself a good jump out front, pulled up in front of Dean. Oh, and I think he did get connected to Dean here. He kind of went down low. I think maybe thought Dean was going to potentially go with him. We kind of hung around in a half lane here for a second. And it looks like the 73, the left front of the 73 and the right rear of Schlosser get kind of hooked there. Put Schlosser up in the wall, and then Dean comes down the racetrack trying to get away from Schlosser. And Hunter Engrav narrowly avoids getting turned into the outside wall, but does make some contact there with Matney. Oh, and Eric Breeding gets punted into the wall by Michael Dean. Michael Dean was the pinball in all of this here. It bounces down into Rutherford and Paul Ellison as well. And then you see there in the back, Paul Sargent makes some contact, trying to get slowed down. Another one spinning farther back in the pack there. And then Schlosser slams into Rutherford as Rutherford comes back down the racetrack. Ryan Dye, Zach Lockett, they get together. My.
I mean, the list has got to be close to zero at this point of drivers who have not been involved in an accident.
Certainly seems like it. Because I think Engrav may have been clean before that, but he gave Matney a pretty good shot. The two of them trying to scoot through the bottom, but he didn't have much of a choice. If he didn't slam into the bumper of Matney, he would have been turned into the outside wall.
So the revolving door revolves once more, and it puts McKinnon to the front, Matney in second, Engrav and Jan Van Leer on the second row, Jordan Journeau and Hayden Palumbo on row 3, RJ Starcevic and Josh Jackson on row 4, and Will Salamoni and Andy Poliski round out your top 10. I think everybody else that's behind the pace car right now is John Kay, Josh Freed, Paul Sargent, and Joshua Motacek. Eric Breeding and Ryan Dye are trying to catch up to the pack here. Well, let's try it again.
We're going to rack it again. Got a couple more attempts here.
This is 2 of 3, I believe. I think manual cautions are on, maybe, so that might throw a wrench in this third attempt if we have to have it. We'll worry about that when we get to it. See if we can get clean and green up until that point. Engrav, I'm sure, not going to be very content to stay on the bottom here. But if he's going to get boxed in, he's going to give Rodney Matney the ride of his life. Great recoveries in this top 10. Andy Poliski. Well, really, Jeremy McKinnon is the ultimate recovery. That thing was pointed backwards about 15 laps ago in front of the entire field. He's back to the lead. The man who turned him was Poliski. He's back in the top 10. Huge crash earlier for Jordan Journeau as well, and he's back at the top 10 now. So many drivers, so little time. The Rocketman Memorial 85 is about to be the Rocketman Memorial 92, as it's going to be lap 91 on the board this time. And Pascal Samard in the chat, not the end I expected. Right there with you. Matney looking for a first career win. McKinnon looking for his 6th, his second Rocketman. Jan Van Leer looking for his second victory. Hunter Engrav starting his first race tonight. Green flag. Not a great start for Josh Jackson on the outside line. Things very spread out here up front. And Graff closing in on Rodney Matney. McKinnon falling back to Jan Van Leer.
Those two should have a good run here out of 4, though. It doesn't look like Jan's really able to get connected, though.
Aiden Palumbo. 3 rookies pushing Rodney Matney clear of Jeremy McKinnon.
Huge numbers advantage here on the bottom.
RJ Starcevic closing in here. I hear spinning behind. There is a crash. Lockett and the caution is out. Lockett and Maxwell got hooked together there, and that will trigger what will be a 3rd and final overtime. And that is our first sim-thrown caution all night, which tells me that the caution here in the final 2 laps can be thrown at any point, and this race is going to be over. And that only serves to ramp up the intensity even more.
Well, Maxwell, Breeding, and Lockett definitely got the worst of this incident. We completely missed it. We were paying attention to those leaders, seeing if they may get to the line. But alas, they did not.
Yeah, it was outside of the top 15. I mean, Lockett has been through the ringer here tonight.
Well, Lockett is sideways here. Oh, it happened before that, that's for sure. Boy, it really happened long before this. Maxwell getting a really big push from Zittel down the backstretch here. Lockett, kind of a sitting duck. Maxwell just kind of sits back to push Lockett. Doesn't try and force the issue at all, but Lockett get down on the apron. Lockett hits the apron with those 2 left side tires. Gets sideways right in front of Zittel and Maxwell. Zittel's able to squeeze through. Oh, and I think that was, or who that was that also got tagged. That was, back it up here for a moment. That was definitely Eric Breeding. And this is a paint scheme I'm not super familiar with. Oh, that is the 42.
Darby Marriott.
Yeah, that's Darby, who I think had just gotten back out on the track not super long ago, was out of the race trying to get damage fixed for quite a while. And unfortunately, he's going to get caught up in another one here. Darby had come back out on the racetrack.
Several drivers from the top 10 have pit for fuel, including Josh Jackson and Jordan Giorno. Corey Rutherford as well.
So, Matney, Aiden Palumbo, Will Salamone, and RJ Starcevic are the only 4 drivers that came down on lap 57 and did not come down again. Everybody else is definitely good on fuel. Those 4 may be questionable.
Ryan Dye and Paul Ellison are the top 2 that have pit under this green-white checkered period, and they are just outside of the top 10 here. So they are certainly good to the end. Everybody else, big question mark. And as if we needed any more drama here in what will be the final restart, hell or high water. Rodney, Matney, Hunter, and Grav. McKinnon and Palumbo. Goodness gracious. This is going to be wild. There's Will Salamone up at the front of the field here, as he usually is in the closing laps at Daytona. Jan Van Leer in it, finally, at the end of one of these super speedway races. In with a chance.
Starcevic still
Yeah.
hanging around. John K. and Motocek still hanging around here as well. I don't know. John has definitely had some damage, but I don't think has had too much damage. So a fairly clean truck there for the two.
I mean, Motocek was almost upside down at one point. So the fact that he's still running is unbelievable. I don't know what to believe after this race anymore.
There are definitely some clips here.
This is now going to be officially the Rocketman Memorial 96. That number is not going to change. The sim caution can come out at any point during this restart, and the race is over at that exact moment in time. Remember, race fans, no matter who you're rooting for here, breathe. We've got 5 miles left to go. You can't hold your breath for that long. You're going to want to try. Matney and Grav. And your two dual winners, McKinnon and Palumbo. Jan Van Leer, Will Salamone, Starcevic, Poliski, the top 8. 2 laps to go.
Engrav is getting left out on this top side here. Matney, McKinnon, and Jan Van Leer all together.
And it's boxing in Jeremy McKinnon. RJ Starcevic with a run. Where's he going to go with it? He stays tucked in line at the bottom.
They're all looking to get underneath of Engrav here. Engrav still has no help.
Rodney Matney leading the field back to the line. Caution is out. The race is over. If Rodney Matney can make it back around one more lap under his own power, he will win the Rocketman Memorial 85. Caution is out for Paul Sargent, who is backwards out of turn number 4. Provisionally, the podium is Jeremy McKinnon and Jan Van Leer behind Rodney Matney. Pace car picks up the 83.
Paging stickers McQueen. Rodney Matney may very well win this race.
Yeah, where's he at? Of all the nights to miss. Unbelievable. Matney raced multiple times in the first 2 seasons of the Venom Truck Series. After Season 2, Round 6, went missing until the middle of Season 5 when we picked up coverage at Atlanta, the new Atlanta. Took another little break halfway through last season, came back at the back half and was back to his usual form. Never a winner in the Venom Truck Series in all of his attempts. But through the Geico restart zone, it's going to be Rodney Matney to win the Rocketman Memorial at Daytona. McKinnon and Jan Van Leer, second and third. Hunter Engrav and RJ Starcevic, the top 5. And I don't know if he's out of fuel or if he's waiting for the field to go past to celebrate. A contentious race here tonight, but Matney was there for the last 20 laps of regulation or so. An incredible work to be up front when the caution flew. Rodney Matney, a long-awaited victory here in the Venom Truck Series.
And that's how you kick off a season.
Ha ha ha! Absolutely.
Alrighty, Tommy. I'm going to take a look at that final crash here.
This will be the first time ever in the Venom Truck Series, at least on turn 200, that a race is finished under the caution.
Looks like a couple of slow drivers here in the back of the pack. And Kenneth Graves just turns Paul Sargent. That is what brings out that caution. And would have loved to have seen Matney put on the moves to make the blocks and win that thing under green, but nonetheless did the work needed to be done to get the race win here tonight.
Well, I believe Jeremy McKinnon is under the weather, so he is going to send us a message for his second place interview. But we will talk to your top three, or in some form or fashion. Of course, Matney with the win, and Jan Van Leer in third. Hunter Engrav in his first career outing with the Venom Truck Series will finish in fourth. And RJ Starcevic, his first career top five, best career finish for RJ Starcevic by a country mile. Will Salamone, a great return here tonight. He keeps that average finish at Daytona up here. He finishes in sixth. Hayden Palumbo, a dual winner, the pole sitter, a solid P7 tonight. John Kay in the eighth position. Now, this is going to be interesting because Andy Poliski was disqualified by the sim. Not sure why, but he should be credited with eighth place. I'm sure retroactively he will be. But for now, John Kay gets the eighth place finish. Ryan Dye in ninth, and Joshua Motacek tentatively in the top 10. Josh Freed in 11th, Jordan Jorno in 12th, Paul Ellis in 13th, Josh Jackson in 14th, Cole Maxwell 15th, Eric Breeding, Corey Rutherford, Tyler Bergert, and Brantley Gainey. The lead lap finishers in 19th. Andy Poliski again, we think is going to finish 8th, but credited for 20th right now. Paul Sargent, Zach Lockett, Kenneth Graves, Austin Holyfield, Steve Roman. Tough nights for them. All the way through 25th. Kyle Zittel likewise in 26th. Michael Dean in 27th. Matt Schlosser in 28th. Rob Williams and Pascal Samar. Then DNFs from here on out. Joshua Rutherford, Chad Stearns, Luke Peterson, Garrett Rainey, and Darby Marriott through top 35. Dan Miglin, Mark Dillon Jr., and Tyler Logan, who never turned a lap here tonight in any session, credited with a 38th and final finishing position here. Let's kick off the podium interviews here with Jan Van Leer back on the podium here at Daytona. First of all, welcome back to Booth 200. Second of all, way to kick the season off right for you.
Hell yeah, what's up, fellas?
I mean, wild race. Wild race here tonight. You and ICR, the whole gang, you've always got it figured out. You're always up front, showing out in the middle portions of this race, and it only takes one thing to really blow up the team strat. But it's good to see somebody from ICR finally prevail and actually get a good finish out of all the madness that we see at these super speedways.
Oh, tell me about it, man. I think this is also my best start to a season and God knows how long. So absolutely. Yeah. Agreed with that. You know, we weren't even trying to figure out, we weren't even trying to like do that so early. It just kind of happened.
Well, it's nice that could fall into your lap then, I suppose. But especially the comfort of teammates, not only in a super speedway race, but with this new less downforce, more side force truck, it looked to be an absolute handful tonight.
Yeah, I felt the ratio of runs to squirreliness was way off. You're definitely a lot more squirrely, and the runs weren't coming quite as strong as we were used to. So yeah, I mean, it was nice to get up front there, but it was so early in the race that I kind of felt like when you're stuck in the eye of the tornado and you know something's going to be coming. So it was a little uncomfortable, especially how easy we got there. But you know, and obviously it did come back to bite us. I spent about 6 minutes in the pits fixing the truck
Oh,
over
Lord.
the course of the race. Yeah.
Matt, what do you got here for the third place finisher?
Yeah, I mean, congrats to weather that storm and come back to still finish on the podium. I mean, I'm sure at that point in the race, you might have been feeling pretty down about it and maybe counting yourself out. But, I mean, were you feeling down about it? Were you counting yourself out? Or did you know that if you kept the hammer down that you still might have a shot?
Oh, I knew that I could have a shot if I just had a truck. So I was able to get my truck fully fixed and get back out, and then another caution caused another minute and a half of damage, but luckily that's about as much as you can get fixed in one lap, so I was able to get it fixed for the last few restarts there, and I knew that it was just as long as I could keep enough fuel in there, I'd have a chance, you know.
Absolutely. And like you said, a great start to the season here. Your best career super speedway finish in the Venom Truck Series, 10th career podium as well. Well done to you. Shout outs for you.
Thanks. Yeah, just shout out to the team as always. Love running with these guys. It was really good. Jeremy, we were working there at the end. The whole league, everything was really cool. And, you know, that last little run, I knew it was going to be a bit of a race. I knew Hunter Engrave was next to me, the rookie. He's super fast. So I knew I was going to have a lot of work on my hands. But luckily, it worked out and we could stay in front when the yellow flew. So, yeah, big thanks to you guys. Big thanks to the team. And the Venom series. Looking forward to this season with everybody, and our new teammate Leo from Australia. So shout out to him.
Absolutely. ICR lounge and bar, I'm sure, is open. So we'll let you get to it. Go
Hell
celebrate.
yeah. See you there later.
We'll talk to you again soon. All right, I'm going to read the statement from Jeremy McKinnon. I'm going to read both of them because I didn't read his dual win in full. I just kind of pieced it together. He said, "It's Daytona. I love this place in super speedway racing. I had my move planned out for 3 laps before I made it. If such scenario played out, this event means a lot to me and what it represents. Thinking of Merv, and so honored to win this duel and look forward to trying to win the main event." And then he says, "I had for the feature race. I had him where I wanted. I just didn't get a chance to make my move. I needed to wait. I had damage. Overall, I'm really happy with my day. Hope I made it exciting for everybody that was watching. Second place sucks. I wanted to win because this race means so much to me. Merv is a great guy and is greatly missed. Thank you to my teammates and thank you to the broadcast team. And thank you to you, Jeremy McKinnon, for sending a statement along. And hopefully we'll get to actually talk to you here soon. But that was a statement from second place finisher Jeremy McKinnon. And now the man of the hour, by God, he's back here in booth 200, but he's here for the first time as a race winner. Rodney Matney is the winner of the Rocketman Memorial 96 here tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I don't know how to open a season any better. I mean, this has got to be my favorite race so far.
Well, if it wasn't your favorite race before you won it, I would say it's probably your favorite now. I mean, you were kind of quiet for part of the night, started creeping your way towards the front, but man, the last 15 to 20 laps there, you were locked on and hunkered down up at the front of this field.
Right, yeah. Toward the end, you know, you gotta put the pedal down, try to find the hole, try to watch your temps, you know, just try to keep your line. I was having a hard time all race finding somewhere I kind of wanted to cruise. You know, it takes some luck here. That's really the truth about it, and it's really great to race with these guys. You know, they're to hold a line, and you can race door to door, and it's just really a good.
Well, I mean, in the closing laps there, with the field as depleted as it is, does that make your job up front easier or harder there, trying to not get run over and trying to throw blocks and make moves there in the last couple laps?
Honestly, it's you know, it's just a roll of the dice. You know, the 3 or 4 or 6 cars that's around you at any given time is really the ones that, you know, you're competing against for at least a lap or so, and you know, you're always battling temps trying to tuck in, push people, and everything else that goes in with that. Not counting doing almost 200 mile an hour bumper to bumper. So I mean, it's a blast. I love the draft tracks. Typically do pretty good, and that is if I make it to the end. That's kind of the thing sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, what do you have here for the race winner?
Yeah, just a massive congratulations here tonight. You're up front a lot trying to push folks and then getting pushed there towards the end as well. You did a phenomenal job. You said it. You can't really start a season off any better than this. Are we going to get you for a full season or at least a majority season? And is there any place in particular we're kind of looking forward to here?
Nothing in particular, really. Unfortunately, I'm back to work first week October, so it looks like I'm going to miss the playoffs this season. But come about the third week of January, I'll be right back.
Well, that's what we like to hear. Sad that we're not going to get you for the full season, but I know you're a busy man and in demand, and that's always a good thing for the checkbook. So appreciate the time here tonight, and yeah, very excited for the season to come for you. Shout outs for you here tonight. Anybody you want to say hi to?
I definitely want to thank all the people that root me on every week and tune in to the race. It really does, put a little bit behind you to do a little more, to push a little harder. So thank you for all my friends and family that tune in. Thanks to you guys. It's always awesome to go back and watch, and thanks for the level of drivers in this league that really just makes this a great.
Absolutely, partner. Bristol's going to be rocking and rolling here tonight. So go party hard. We'll hopefully talk to you again here very, very soon. But congratulations on your first career victory.
Thank you, guys.
That is Rodney Matney. That is going to be a popular one. It was a popular one over the radio. Everybody was giving Rodney congratulations. I mean, what a story. It is unfortunate that he's seemingly going to miss the playoffs here, whether or not he's qualified. But regardless, what a way to open up the season with a first-time winner in the Venom Truck Series for the second season in a row here at the Rocketman Memorial. And an interesting race here. A lot learned about the trucks today.
Yeah, definitely a lot learned about the trucks. I'm very interested to see what happens when we start going to the 1.5 miles, the short tracks. I think that's where we're really going to see how much of a difference, this package change and this update has been to the trucks here on iRacing. It's going to be something to look forward to. Might help some drivers, might hurt some others, might shuffle, our expectations a little bit and some of the drivers' expectations. Some of them might have to work a little harder to figure this thing out. So, excited to see what we got coming up this season. 20 races of Venom Truck Series on Tuesday nights coming right at you. Week number 1 is done, but we got plenty more coming your way. Thanks to everybody that was tuning in and all the drivers that came out to race here tonight. Of course, Mr. Cole Maxwell, RJ Starcevic here in the chat, Goodleaf as always, Pamela Engrav, Pascal Samard, unfortunately was in here earlier than we would have hoped. Same for Joshua Rutherford, AP Lewis, Eric Elgin, Otakon 1000, Darby was in here, Ryan Wright, Kingston cheering on Jeremy McKinnon, Logan Lester cheering on Ryan Dye, and I think that was it. If I missed anybody, I am sorry. But thanks to you guys and anybody else that was watching here tonight. Probably had some new people that were not aware of us previously because we've had quite a few new drivers here this season. If you're not subscribed and you like the stream, please think about subscribing. It helps us out, and it's free. So if you enjoy the broadcast, we would appreciate that at some point. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on down the road.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night. It's the turn tuner debut of Knock Hill for the ASRL Sports Car Championship. GT3, GT4 multi-class racing action with the new cars in place tomorrow night at Knock Hill of all the tracks. It is the short track of road courses. It's going to be a cluster, you know what. That is what we like here on Turn 200. Then Thursday night, the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series at Sonoma. Boy, with these truck upgrades, having to go to a road course in the blistering hot sun on a Thursday night out in Sonoma, That is going to be very interesting, to say the least. Sonoma with the trucks on Thursday. No Sunday action this week, but we do have the Turn 200 All-Star Race, which now Rodney Matney is qualified for. That is Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I think is when the stream is going to start, roughly around there. It is the DW12s at Auto Club Speedway. That is Saturday night, the Turn 200 All-Star Race, for anybody that is eligible and interested in participating in that. And then that will bring us back around to next Tuesday, where we will have the Venom Truck Series, round number 2 of season number 8 from Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Fighting Driver Blindness Race, courtesy of Eric Breeding, Justice for the Chiquita Banana. Yep, that's about all we got for you here tonight. And like Matt said, we appreciate everybody that was new hanging out with us here tonight, and looking forward to many more great races down the road here in season number 8 and anywhere else that you could join us here on Turn 200. For everybody with the Venom Truck Series, for the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, until we meet again, I am Tommy Cook saying so long from Daytona International Speedway, where Rodney Matney is a winner with the Venom Truck Series. He takes the Rocketman Memorial 85.
This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.